What's up this afternoon, everyone? Welcome. Fine Tuesday to you all. What's up with chat? Why is the chat not on the screen? Fine Tuesday to y'all. Good to see ya. Lucid, how are you? Soul Grade. Silk. Good to see ya. Yeah, we're playing Legacy today. We never play Legacy on stream. It is super rare. But yesterday, Lucid for the 40th month. Hey, how are you, JBH? Good to see ya. Hearts. In Death by Admiration, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. And Silk 666 as well. Welcome you as well. Big scoop share for you. Thank you. You should make a poll today. How many Bowmasters will we encounter? I mean, really, if you look at our deck list, though, we're not that card draw heavy. Like, we have Faithless Looting. So there's we have two different deck lists. We're going to start with this one. And if we have time, maybe try the other one. There's two different deck lists. So anyway, here's the question. So yesterday was BNR day. It was a very surprising BNR day. There were so many conversations. Okay, could they ban Shieldred in Standard because it's 57% of the meta? Will they ban something in Pioneer because players don't like it? Karn, Nykthos, maybe Fable the Mirror Breaker. What about Modern? How about the One Ring? How about Bowmasters? Will they unban stuff in Modern? Well, it turns out Wizards had very different plans. The BNR, one of the weirdest BNRs that I've ever seen, or most unexpected BNRs that I have ever seen, which is Preordain unbanned in Modern, Mind's Desire unbanned in Legacy, no bannings, nothing banned, nothing in Standard, Modern, Pioneer. Those are the only changes. I'm curious, what do you think of this BNR? What do you think overall? Tuga Buddy, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. And Dan Wildfire, hey, good to see you, Doug, for the 57th month. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, I thought Preordain was safe to unban, but I'm surprised that it was actually unbanned. They did say in this announcement that they're hoping to unban more cards in Modern, so I'm hoping this is the first of several or many unbannings. So Preordain, I don't think it changes anything, honestly. Like, Preordain's fine, it'll see some play, but I don't think it's a format defining card. You're probably wondering, like, why are we playing Legacy today? We just got a new Modern card. What do you do with Preordain? Like, Preordain, you can't really build around it. So, like, what are we gonna do? We're gonna play, like, Underworld Breach with Preordain? Is it Murktide with Preordain? Like, that doesn't sound that interesting. It's just a cantrip. So I'm glad it's off the ban list, but I think it's just like an addition to decks that already exist, rather than something that could make a new deck or be format defining. On the other hand, Mind's Desire, I am really curious how good this card is in 2023. If you watch the video on the YouTube, I guess this is a good segue. Look at this, professional streamer. Boom, YouTube. Check it out if you haven't. Also, replay YouTube if you haven't checked that out for the old episodes. If you watch the video on the YouTube about the fastest bannings, discounting Lutri and that weird scenario in Commander, Mind's Desire fastest banned card in Magic's history. It was banned like a week after it was printed. This is a historically scary card. It was banned over 2 decades ago, remained on the ban list ever since. So this one really came out of left field. I am really curious, chat. Do you think this card is good in 2023? Like, is this still good? Is this one of the cards we're scared of because it was busted 2 decades ago, but it doesn't hold up anymore? I don't know, but that's what we're going to find out for today. Our plan for today, we got 2 different decks we mess around with. In your Diamond Lion versus Merfolk matchup, you said, pay the ward, hit the lord, and that tickled me. I got some good rhymes occasionally. So here's what we got deck-wise. I solicited the greatest minds of the Legacy internet. Actually, I tweeted about playing this deck, and Thraben U, if you don't know Thraben U's YouTube and you like Legacy, definitely check them out. They said, I wouldn't recommend playing Mind's Desire today. Let people figure out better lists first. But if you insist, here's a list I would play. So this is a list that Thraben U sent me. This is a Mizzix Mastery Mind's Desire combo deck. Hey, what's up, Stone Rain? Good to see you. GR Michello. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. So the idea of Mind's Desire is you get to cast a random card for free from your deck, and it has Storm. So what are we trying to do with Mind's Desire? Well, we have a ton of free fast mana spells. Chrome Mox, Lion's Eye Diamond, Lotus Petal, Mox Opal, Rite of Flame, Manamorphose, Grim Monolith. These are all cards that either are free or generate mana. So ideally, we cast a bunch of them and hit a Mind's Desire, and then we get to cast a bunch of cards for free. And then hopefully we hit another Mind's Desire or a Mizzix Mastery to cast Mind's Desire again, and then we cast a bunch more cards for free. And hopefully we just cast our entire deck for free. And eventually this will find Burning Wishes, which can get either a Empty the Warrens or a Grape Shot to close out the game. We can also get a Mind's Desire from our sideboard just to cast more of our deck. So that's the plan of this deck. It's essentially a Storm deck with Mind's Desire hopefully letting us cast our entire deck. So that's deck number 1. That's where we're starting with. Deck number 2, this is the Reed Duke special. Reed Duke, this is Legacy High Tide. High Tide is looking to use the card High Tide that doubles your island mana for a turn to make a lot of mana with effects that untap your lands. Turnabout untaps all your lands. Time Spiral refills your hand. Time Spiral does seem risky against Bowmasters, I will say. That does seem a little risky, but hey, hopefully no one plays a Bowmaster, so we'll be fine. Ego, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. Really, you like the High Tide one first? I was thinking the other one would be more interesting. I mean, we could play High Tide first if you want to. Maybe we do a poll. Should we do a poll on which one we play? I was thinking, let's do a poll. Hang on. I'll put a poll up as we do our reminders if I can figure out how to actually do this, because I'm a professional streamer. Can professional streamer dude figure out how to put a poll up on his stream? Maybe. 50-50. Oh, new poll. Hey, I found the button. Okay, what deck should we play? Question mark. High Tide, Mizzix Mastery. All right. Poll is starting. We're gonna put a 3-minute duration. Get your votes in. So the poll should be up at the top of the chat. Tell me which one you want to play first. I mean, if we have time, we will get to both of them. Can someone explain the Legacy format for me? Legacy is all the cards in Magic, but it does have a ban list. That's the main difference. Aces of Death, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. So there's 2 formats in Magic that let you play all the cards in existence, Vintage and Legacy. The difference is Vintage doesn't ban cards. They just restrict them if they're overpowered to only playing 1 copy in a deck. So you can play literally the Power 9, everything you want to, except for Luris. That's the only card that's actually banned. In like Dexterity cards or whatever, but the only real card that's banned. Legacy, you can play all the cards in Magic, but it actually does have a ban list. Like the Power 9 is banned. There's a bunch of other stuff that's banned. So this is taking advantage of a lot of really, really old cards. Both of these decks, honestly, are built around cards from the earliest days of Magic. Lion's Eye Diamond, Burning Wish, Mind's Desire is 20 years old, Grim Monolith is 20 years old. It's going to be interesting. I do not have much confidence in my ability to play these decks well. Wow, the poll's really close. High Tide coming in 54% to 46%. Get your votes in. What about Brain Freeze win or Dragonstorm win? So High Tide actually has Brain Freeze win. So this one does. The main win con, I believe, is going to be getting the... Well, actually, the main win con's probably Blue Sun Zenith. It's one of these two. Either you do all your big, like, cast all your spells things and get Brainstorm and mill your opponent out, or you can get Blue Sun Zenith and make them draw their entire deck. I guess ideally you do both. You can, like, Brain Freeze to mill your opponent's deck, and then also Blue Sun Zenith to make your opponent draw to close out the game. So that's kind of the win con there. This one does not have a Brain Freeze kill in the Mizzix Desire deck. The High Tide deck is worse. You think? I have no idea which one's worse, honestly. So that's the plan for today. The poll is going. Get your votes in on which one you want to see first. Reminder, so we did YouTube, Replay YouTube. A reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. And if you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/empty2goldfish. Even get a free goldfish sticker. Just let them know you want one in your order notes and they'll hook you up. Can you place your Charizard on Moto? I don't believe so. I've never seen it played, so I'm assuming that you can't. I'm assuming is it even on? Is it even on Moto? I bet it isn't. Oh god. Wait. Is Shahrazad? I don't even know how to spell Shahrazad. Shahrazad. Yeah, I don't think it's even on Moto, is it? No, I don't think it's even on Moto. Once you get playing, can we get some sort of channel point prediction action going? Oh, wait, you can vote with channel points. Maybe. Unless, if a mod can do it, that'd be great. It's hard to do while you're actually streaming to, like, also do the gambling. But if anyone wants to do it, that'd be sweet. You spelled it wrong, but it's not. That's not a surprise. I figured I'd spell it wrong. Otherwise, reminders, merch page, token, t-shirts, playmats, giveaways, support the stream, and the channel, and the site. Donations always appreciated, never required. $2 more gets your message read on stream. We have so much news this week, chat. I almost thought maybe we just don't even play Magic today and we just talk about all the Magic news, because this is one of the biggest news days. So we had the BNR yesterday. Huge news. So that's one of them. Just watching the Thraben U video where he put Mind's Desire in place of Ad Nauseam and Ant. Yeah, actually, I got this deck list from Thraben U. They're the person that sent it to me. So definitely check out Thraben U's Thraben U's YouTube if you like legacy stuff. So we have so much news. We got the BNR, the surprise BNR. That's big news. We got the next 3 years worth of Magic sets. That's big news. We got a Secret Lair Commander deck along with a Sega Dreamcast card coming to paper for the first time. That's big news. We got Wilds of Eldraine teasers from Morrow. That's big news. And then we also got some just random price stuff, which probably the least important news, but like some stuff about commander prices and product prices that Mark Rosewater was talking about. So we have so much to talk about today. Seriously, so much to talk about. I'm curious, what are you thinking about the set release stuff? What's the hype level? It looks like High Tide is actually the winner. So, all right, we're starting with High Tide then, rather than Mizzix. Oh, this should be interesting. Oh, High Tide seems so hard to play. Chat, why, chat? Why? Why you make me do this? Oh no. Oh, Lucid started streaming on Twitch. Really, Lucid? Are you streaming now? What are you streaming, Lucid? That's awesome. You should link your channel so people can find it. I'd like to check it out sometime. Rosa Public, welcome to the Fish Bowls. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big scoops here for you. Thank you. So the poll, it looks like we have the answer. We're starting with High Tide, according to the poll. If we have time, we'll still do Mizzix Mastery after that. So that's what we're starting with. Okay, so let's talk about this deck and get into a league, and then we'll talk about the other stuff as we go along. Should we talk about the set stuff first? That's the one thing that I really want to talk about. All right, let's talk about the set. Should we talk about set stuff? Yeah, let's talk about the set stuff real quick. And we just to set the context, and then we can talk about the sets and what we're hyped for as we go along. So let's just go over what's coming out first. Should run Fadeaway in the hype. Floodgate and Fadeaway. Legacy staples. Is that Tomer? Is that a fake Tomer account? Tomer. Okay, so here's what's coming up. Wizards at Gen Con this weekend. They literally announced the next 3 years worth of Magic. So here's what we got. We know what's coming up this year. We're going to Wilds of Eldraine. Spoilers start a week from today. So probably early stream next Thursday to watch spoilers. Or next Tuesday, rather. A week from today, Wilds of Eldraine. Ixalan later in the fall. Along with Ixalan, we're getting Jurassic World Universes Beyond mixed in with the set. There is an Angel Secret Lair. We haven't got to that yet. I'll get to it. And then 2024. Ravnica Remastered, Old Border Shocklands. The video's so long, though. It's like a half hour. It's too long. Murders at Karlov Mansion. This is Magic Murder Mystery set in Ravnica, but with no guilds. Very weird idea. Like, Magic Murder Mystery sounds kind of cool. Ravnica with no guilds. Very, very strange. Fallout Universes Beyond. Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Finally, a cowboy-themed Magic set, which that should be very interesting. How do you feel about Cowboy World? Like, is Cowboy World something you're hyped for or not hyped for? I feel like Cowboy World, either people are gonna love it, yeah, yeehaw! People are either gonna love it or hate it. It's gonna be one of those planes. It's very, very divisive. I'm kind of hyped for it. Apparently, it's all the villains in the multiverse getting together on Cowboy Plane for some reason. After that, Modern Horizons 3. I am very afraid and also very excited for Modern Horizons 3. Very, very, very much of both. Those are the Falling Leaf. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super fan. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Modern Horizons, the last 2 times they've released Modern Horizons, the months after they release it has been the most fun I've had playing Modern in my life, period, bar none. So I'm really looking forward to that time period. Like next summer after that set comes out, we're gonna have so much fun playing Modern, and they're putting on arenas so we can play in Historic too. So I'm really excited about that. On the other hand, the long-term impact of Modern Horizons, maybe not the best on Modern. So I'm also a little bit scared. After that, Assassin's Creed, chat, help me with this. Is Assassin's Creed actually like tier rank it for me as far as Universes Beyond? Is that an actual important Universes Beyond or no? Like, are people actually into Assassin's Creed, or is this one of those like Walking Dead 10 years past its prime? Like, is this actually something to be hyped for? Wow, okay, that's a lot of D's and F's. So people are not especially hyped for Assassin's Creed then. Snooze, I love Assassin's Creed. I remember Assassin's Creed being a big thing, but wasn't that like 10 or 15 years ago? I feel like it was a long time ago. After that, Bloomborough. What is the hype level for Bloomborough? Bloomborough is a animal people world, furry world, essentially. No humans, but a bunch of humanoid animals. And then rounding out next year, Duskmorn, a modern horror theme set. Of this year, what are you most hyped for? I think for me, oh boy, it's so tough. So Modern Horizons probably number 1 for me, personally. Number 1. I also miss Fallout. What's the hype level for Fallout? I actually like Fallout. I played Fallout at one point a long time ago, and it was kind of cool. I think for me, number 1 would be Modern Horizons. Number 2 is tough. I'm really hyped. All the standard sets. Actually, Murders at Karlov Mansion is probably the one I'm least excited for. I think Duskmorn sounds really cool. Bloomborough looks cute. And I think the Cowboy World, like, how can you not like Cowboy World? So I think all 3 of those look really interesting. Murders at Karlov Mansion, I'm kind of like, meh, whatever, like, okay, like, that's fine. Maybe it's because we've been to Ravnica so many times, so I'm excited for new planes compared to going to Ravnica again, although it'll be in a weird way. Then we got, oh no, I gotta, hang on, there's a better way of doing this. Let me pull up this. I posted on Twitter the other day just a list of all the sets with what they are. The problem is this is all code names. And the code names, okay, so here's the rest of the main sets. So, okay, we got through Duskmorn. After that, Interplanar Death Race set, Return to Tarkir, Space, Return to Lorwyn. It is actually seriously happening. There is actually going to be a Return to Lorwyn. That's one of those sets that people have been asking for forever. So real Return to Lorwyn, Return to Arcavios, which is Strixhaven, and then whatever this final is. I will say out of all of the sets they've announced, the one I am least hyped for is Return to Strixhaven. Do people like Strixhaven? Is Strixhaven like a popular? That one caught me by surprise. I thought that Strixhaven was kind of like meh and not very popular, so I was very surprised that they're going back to it already. But whatever. Maybe they'll do it in a cool way. But that's the one I'm probably least hyped for, honestly. Although that's like 2026 or something. We're like in the pretty distant future now. Who knows what the world will be like? The other big news is down here. As far as Universes Beyond Final Fantasy. And this is a tentpole release, they call it. So this is like what the Lord of the Rings just was. The full deal, boosters, presumably legal and modern, commander decks, but for Final Fantasy. My question for all of you, chat, is how does Final Fantasy compare to Lord of the Rings? Like, how does it compare just as far as, like, popularity, nerd culture, whatever, like, is this going to be huge? Because we know that Lord of the Rings is like the best-selling set of all time, and it has brought new players into the game. How close is Final Fantasy to Lord of the Rings level? One thing people have said is it's really popular outside the US. I know it's popular here because I have friends that are like huge Final Fantasy fans. They just like their favorite thing ever. But I think it's even bigger in some other places, like over in Asia. There's like a huge following for Final Fantasy. So I wonder if worldwide Final Fantasy might actually be even bigger or close to as big as Lord of the Rings. Yeah, because it's like so popular over in Japan and places like that. So I wonder if that would. On the other hand, if I went to my grandmother and I was like, hey, Lord of the Rings or Final Fantasy, I'm pretty sure she would know what Lord of the Rings is, but I don't think she would know what Final Fantasy is. So I think for like normies, such a horrible term, but for people who don't know the magic world in like nerd culture and any of this stuff, I think that Lord of the Rings just is culturally bigger because it's stuff that even people who aren't into any of that will know. Does she play MTG though? No, that's the downside. So that's what's coming up. It is going to be a pretty exciting. Next year looks so good. What an exciting time in Magic. I mean, yeah, normie. I don't know if that's is normie is that a term you're supposed to use or not? Anyway, what are we playing today? We can talk now that we have those sets laid out. We can talk about it as we go along. So we're gonna start with High Tide. What is the plan of High Tide? Well, our hope is to win with Mind's Desire, casting our entire deck to eventually find Fae of Wishes, to get Blue Sun Zenith, and to get Brain Freeze from her sideboard to mill our opponent out. How do we go about doing this? What are our key cards? Well, key card number 1 is we really need High Tide. High Tide doubles the mana of our islands for a turn. And our deck really wants High Tide, even multiple High Tides, because the main way we generate mana in this deck is untapping our lands with Turnabout and Time Spiral, and also Candelabra of Tawnos, which is horrible normally. Pay X to untap X lands, but if your lands are tapping for 2 or 3 mana, this becomes really, really good. So we need High Tide for any of this to work. Without High Tide, we're not going to do really much of anything. Unlikely that we can win without it. So assuming we get High Tide, we have a new donation from Day and Wildfire, $2 donation. Final Fantasy is about as big as D&D as far as nerd culture is concerned. I plan on doing several videos about cards from the set. Yeah, I'm sure those will be popular, Doug. Yeah, that's pretty big then, right? D&D is pretty big, so I guess that's a pretty good thing. It's one Richard over. Richard, out of the whole cast, of the Goldfish cast, was, I think, most skeptical of Universes Beyond when it started, and he is incredibly hyped for Final Fantasy. Both him and Krim are big Final Fantasy fans. We have Affinity Discord. Welcome to the Fishbowl for the 23rd month, almost 2 years. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. Opinion on the lack of Modern and Pioneer bans. Hope all is well. I was surprised. If Wizards is really sticking to this ban once a year thing, if that is really their idea, I think you got to be aggressive with your once a year window. So I was surprised that they didn't actually do more during that window. Disappointed, I would say. I'm happy they unbanned stuff, and I hope they continue to unban stuff. I think the ban list is too long in essentially every Eternal format, and there's cards that can come off of it. Yeah, this is Reed's list. So, but he's also Reed Duke, and Reed Duke is really good at Magic. So don't expect that from me. Why Fae of Wishes over Cunning Wish? It can block. Actually, I do not have a real answer for that. I assume that if we're casting it, we're hopefully casting it for free off Mind's Desire anyway. Maybe it really is because it can block. But anyway, okay, back to this deck. How do we do this? So High Tide to double our mana. That's step 1. Time Spiral, Turnabout, untap our double mana lands. And Candelabra, that's step 2. And then our big payoffs. Time Spiral refills our hand. Eventually, we cast as many spells as possible, and then we cast a huge Mind Desire. To actually win the game, we need to find Fae of Wishes to get our finishers from the sideboard, the Brain Freeze and the Blue Sun Zenith, and those actually kill our opponent. Can we do this successfully? It will be interesting. I feel like this is like an Amulet Titan in modern style deck, where it's one of those decks that, it sounds easy. Yeah, you just kind of cast the spells and get up to 8 mana and you'll be fine. I think in practice, it's going to be very hard to play properly. Krim on the stream yesterday said you officially watched an anime saying you started Death Note. Can you confirm or deny? I did, accidentally. So I I watch horror movies sometimes. In one of the I was browsing through the recommended horror movies on some streaming service. I don't remember which one. Maybe it might have been Netflix. But Death Note popped up. And for some reason, I Googled Death Note, and it asked me, like, do you mean the movie, or do you mean the, like, whatever TV show? So I clicked on the TV show, because I was like, I'm not going to watch this movie. No, it was like an animated anime, not live action. It was like not a movie. It was like a many episode TV show. I think I watched the whole first season of it. Krim said definitely do not watch the second season, but I don't know, because they don't for some reason break it up into seasons. It's just like a huge list of episodes, but I watched until it seemingly came to the end of the storyline and changed, and then I was like, all right, enough. It was good though. So okay, so I kind of like Death Note. What else would you push me towards? Death Note got you into anime? See, that's the first one I watched. That's the first anime I watched. So where do I go from here? That's the question. Hey, what's up, Looney? How are you? Do we keep this? Yeah, we'll keep it. Please don't. Please don't Bowmasters us. So this hand doesn't really have anything, except it does have Preordain and Brainstorm, and our opponent's going to 5. Cowboy Bebop. I know of Cowboy Bebop, because that used to be on a old school Adult Swim. Death Note's a little cringy. Full Metal Alchemist, Brotherhood, very good, was the first one. I will say, Death Note, the idea of it intrigued me. The, like, oh, I can write a notebook in it and make people die. There were some episodes that I was kind of like, I don't know. Some episodes were maybe a little cringy. I will give it that. Some I like better than others. I don't know about the ending. Am I spoiling Death Note for people? Whoa. What? Wait, we're in a Legacy League, right? We did successfully. Okay. So we joined a Legacy League. Apparently our opponent's playing Slivers. What do we keep here? Candelabra. So we need High Tide. I guess Turnabout. All right, so Candelabra bottom. Keep the Turnabout. Pass the Slivers! It's Slivers! $35 Sliver Hive. How will we ever win? No one predicted Slivers. If you actually predicted the matchup would be Slivers, you deserve all the channel points. Literally all of them. Crystalline Sliver. Okay. We weren't really going to target your stuff anyway. Opponent gets in. Well, the good news is our opponent shouldn't have much interaction, right? Slivers, I don't think, can play much interaction. So we will Brainstorm. Main phase. Okay, that's a Minds. We really need the High Tide. We really need the High Tide. So put Fae of Wishes back. Put in Island back. Actually, do we keep Fae of Wishes? Do we put back 2 islands? We have 4 lands. Yeah, let's put back 2 islands. Play a Polluted Delta. Crack a Polluted Delta. Autumn Jake! Welcome to the Vish Bowl. Grab an island and ponder. Welcome to the Vish Bowl. Thank you. That's High Tide. Oh my god, how close are we to doing this? How close are we to... Oh my goodness, how close are we to doing this? Oh no, now we gotta think. Okay, so if we leave these cards, next turn, High Tide, Turnabout. I mean, we're definitely keeping the High Tide. Do we want the Force is the real question. Is it worth keeping the Force to stop something this turn? Oh, I know we got a donation too. Let me resolve. Legacy's hard. Do we keep the Force? So I don't think we try to win next. Can we win? Actually, no, we can try to win next turn, can't we? Wait, do we just go for it? So next turn, we play High Tide. We Turnabout, untap our lands. That gets us up to 6 mana. 6 mana, we Time Spiral and just hope for the best. Do we really go for it that quickly? The more lands we make, the better our High Tide gets. All right, yeah, I think that's actually correct. I think we put High Tide second and draw the Force. And then we have protection. We might go for it next turn. Do you try to combo off with just 3 lands? Is that like a thing you actually do with this deck? We have a new donation from Dan Wildfire. $2 donation. 1, 2. So we're gonna get hit for 5. I mean, maybe we can just wait another turn. Maybe we don't even have to win next turn. If we give it one more turn, we have even more mana, right? So do we even, maybe we don't even go for it. I kind of think we don't go for it. Ooh, because you know what? Okay, we're gonna, is a high tide an instant? It is. All right, we're gonna wait one more turn. We're gonna wait one more turn. The only way I think we can lose is if they somehow go Cavern of Souls Lord. Next turn, I think we can do something sneaky where I think we can High Tide, Mystic Sanctuary, get back the High Tide, and eventually have double High Tide, and then we should be able to do everything and win. I think that's the plan. Plated Sliver, sure. I mean, if they have Force, we have Force, though. Gal Rider Sliver, sure. Well, now we don't even have to. Okay, we're doing it, chat. We're doing it. We are actually doing it. Opponent gets it, hits us. Down to 6, that is fine. Okay, let's see if we can get a little fancy here. So, we will play Flooded Strand. We will crack Flooded Strand. Actually, I guess we can just, okay, so play High Tide. Play High Tide. Resolves. Here we go, Slivers. Here we go. Crack our Flooded Strand. Yes, down to 5. Get a Mystical Sanctuary to get back the High Tide. Double Trouble. Now we float all of our mana, and then we cast Turnabout. Oh god, I gotta read this. Choose target artifact, creature, or land. Tap all untap permanents, then, or untap all tap permanents. Okay, so we choose ourselves. We choose, oh god, please work. We choose land. We untap our lands. Now we can ponder. Resolves. Ooh, that's another High Tide. We do want the High Tide. We definitely want the High Tide. Put on top. No. Cast High Tide. Now our islands tab for 3 mana. Do we have 12 mana? Oh my god. Do we mini Mind's Desire? Let's mini Mind's Desire. Just a little one. Mind's Desire. Force of Will, that's not great. Candelabra, that's better. Brainstorm, that's fine. Misty. Okay, so play. Wow, we're doing it. Oh, we're doing it. We're going to win. We're going to win for sure. We untap 4 land. We're doing it. I mean, not for sure, but we would have to get really unlucky to not win. All right, so we untap our lands. 4 mana, but they are all tapping for 3 mana. We tap all of our lands. We cast a Turnabout. Target ourselves. Land, untap. Oh, this is happening. Float all of our mana. Brainstorm. See what we might find. Oh, that's even more Mind's Desires. Okay, we don't need the Force of Will. That can go back. We don't need the Fae of Wishes yet. We're going to do it. Oh my goodness, it's happening. It is really happening. Turnabout. Turnabout. Let's untap those lands. Oh, untap. Yes, please. Now we will brainstorm into these bad cards that we don't want. Put back. Oh, that's another Mind's Desire. My God. I don't even know if we need Time Spiral. Let's put them both back. This is maybe why you play Fae of Wishes. We can just cast it. Actually, you know what? We don't even need to cast it. Let's just Mind's Desire. Storm count at 10. How about 10 free cards? No wonder this card was banned. This is absurd. This is ridiculous. Oh, that's another High Tide, too. Oh, my God. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is actually pretty sweet. Okay, I like this deck already. Preordain? How about a Preordain? Can we do that? Bottom and bottom. I mean, I think we just win, right? Merchant Scroll. That's another Mind's Desire. We're going to literally play our entire deck here. Let's take a High Tide, just in case we don't have enough mana. Let's cast the High Tide. Sure. Merchant Scroll. How about a High Tide? We don't have enough mana yet. You can never have too much mana. Let's cast a High Tide. Sure. Wait, that's another High Tide. How many High Tides have we cast? Our lands are tapping for 6. Mind's Desire. Storm count at 17? 17? Yes. Yes. Brain Freeze Blue Sun Zenith is coming. It's coming. That's the final step. We just need to hit our Fae of Wishes. We gotta hit the Fae of Wishes, and then, oh my goodness, all these time spirals. I don't even think we need the time spirals. Opponent has 52 cards in their deck. So we're good. We should be good. So we just Candelabra resolves. Candelabra resolves. Oh, sorry. Let me finish this combo and then I'll get to the donation. I just don't want to mess it up here. We're so close. Candelabra resolves. Then we turnabout ourselves. Oh, I'm sorry, Slivers. I feel bad because Slivers in Legacy is actually super cool. So we untap all of our lands, and then we Candelabra to untap all of our lands. Okay, Candelabra, untap, and then tap all of our lands, and then Candelabra, untap. I don't even know. Do we even need to keep doing this? Oh, yeah, I guess we need mana for maybe a Fae of Wishes? Untap. Fae of Wishes. Granted. Get a... Yes. Brain Freeze. Wow. What a game. Is this turn 4? Get the Brain Freeze. Fae of Wishes. Granted. Also for free. Yes. Get the Blue Sun Zenith. So the Blue Sun Zenith, what this means is... if our opponent has like an Emrakul, which they won't, but if they did, we could win with the trigger on the stack. So we just mill an opponent. Done. 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 Wait. Why did they unban this card? Why did they unban this card? Yeah, I guess we could have just Blue Suns them, couldn't we? We didn't even need to. Wow. Ivan MTG! Welcome to the Fishbowl. Okay, I can see why they banned it so quickly 20 years ago. I mean, it is turn 4. Our opponent's playing Slivers. Like, I think it'll be a lot harder for us once our opponent's playing Interaction. Like, our opponent is just playing a bunch of Slivers and hoping for the best. Let me get to these donations before we sideboard. So, Day in Wildfire, let's see. Caroling Tuesday is on Netflix. It's an anime made by one of the most respected names in the game, the same guy who did Cowboy Bebop. It said in the near future, the AI handles all music and creativity. 2 girls who can't afford an AI make music on their own. I remember you recommending this to me before. I'll have to look it up. I like music. Apparently I like anime now because I watched most of Death Note. So I'll have to look that up, Doug. Thank you for the suggestion. And also, OneCube $3 donation. How do you get excited about Standard when we're facing another year of Shielder dominance? Card being 60% of the meta feels way more than just every format has a best creature, like was said on the podcast. I don't think I said that on the podcast, but yeah, a card shouldn't be 60% of the meta. I am firmly in the camp that just being that heavily played, assuming you're not a utility spell or a sideboard card, but as a threat, just being that heavily played is reason in and of itself to ban a card. So that is my... How do we sideboard in this matchup? Our forces are probably bad, right? Can Slivers even play Force? I have no idea what Legacy Slivers even look like, but I assume they can't play Force. Can they really play Force? We can bring in a Dress Down, maybe. Maybe an Echoing Truth? Well, actually, Snap seems even better. Let's bring in Snap. All right, let's try it like that. Let's just do what we did last time. So yeah, my hope is WhenCube, and what I'm holding out hope for is I'm hoping that it won't actually be the best card in Standard for the next year. Maybe it's probably too optimistic, but I'm really, really hoping that somehow, some way, Throne of Eldraine shifts the meta in a way that makes it so Shieldred is 30% of the meta, 25% of the meta. Were you betting against me? Never bet against High Tide, especially when they're up against Slivers. If there's one matchup we should be good in, it's probably the Sliver matchup. What do we put to the bottom? Candelabra for now? Yeah, let's go Candelabra for now. We definitely need lands and High Tides for sure. So yeah, I mean, I'm concerned about it, but I will be more concerned 2 weeks after Eldraine releases if we're in the same spot. If we're in the same spot after Eldraine releases, So here's the good news. And Richard mentioned this on the podcast, and he's right. Wizards changes things constantly. So, oh no. I think we have to shuffle. Oh, that's not great. Land? Oh, okay. We found a land. Wizards changes things constantly. So I'm hoping that if it really is a disaster after Wilds of Eldraine comes out and nothing changes, that Wizards will take and actually just ban Shieldred then. The one banning a year thing, I don't know if it's, wow, Wasteland in your 5-color deck. I don't know if it's actually something Wizards will hold to long term. I would be kind of surprised. All right, there's a Muscle Sliver. Opponent passing. There's a Force. Well, we will preordain. Opponent. Is this something that wrecks us? Okay, just a Striking Sliver. Ooh, Dress Down. We might need both of those. Do we need Dress Down, or are we just trying to win? All right, Dress Down to the bottom. Land to the top. Pass the turn. It is kind of a fog, but we really need High Tide. If we can find High Tide, I think hopefully we can just win with this Mind's Desire. But we need to find the High Tide for the mana. If we brainstorm into High Tide, I guess we need 2 turns no matter what. All right, Flying Slivers, sure. We're pretty Wasteland proof. I mean, we got a couple turns. This is only 4 damage. So we dropped to 16. Can we find a High Tide? Oh my god! Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Okay, do we win now? That changes things with 2 turnabouts in hand. Do we go for it, chat? Do we go for it? Do we just go for it? I mean, I think we just go for it. Floated Delta. Crack it. Here we go. Here we go. High Tide? Double the manas? Turnabout? Target us? Opponent. Vials. Chat. I blame you, chat. I blame you. Chat. Oh, just go for it. It's almost deterministic. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Oh, yeah, I think we're dead now. Yeah, Canonus is a blowout. Chat. Oh, okay. I don't even know how this starts. Is there... the funny thing is we even had the Force, but they have the Ether Vial. Yeah, we're just... No, we can't win. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's cheating. That's cheating. That's not a Sliver. That's a Human Cleric. Were you beating that anyway? I mean, we do have Dress Down in our deck. I guess we just got to bring in more Dress Downs. Is Force even worth it? Maybe we cut the fours. Hey, what's up, bud Aki? How are you? Maybe we so they have Cavern, right? They have Cavern. They also have Vial. So there's a lot of stuff that kind of wrecks fours. Maybe we keep one just as a miser. We kind of want to leave at least something in the sideboard to tutor. Some sort of bounce spell we can tutor from the sideboard, I think, with Fae of Wishes. I guess we could bring in the Echoing. Maybe we cut them all and just leave Wipe Away in the sideboard. You know what? Boom. Here we go. Here we go. I can't imagine Sliver is playing too many non-creatures. It seems, well, okay. So we can Merchant Scroll for a High Tide. That's good. We have Dress Down, so we can actually beat the hate. What is the name of the card? I was watching my phone. The one our opponent played, Ethersworn Canonist. It's just a 2-mana 2/2. Each player can only cast one non-artifact spell each turn. So essentially, you only get to cast one spell each turn. It's essentially a Storm Hate card. Very good against what we're trying to do. This hand is slow, but we're up against Slivers and we're on the play, so I think this is fine. Like, next turn, we can use Merchant Scroll for the High Tide, and then we're not that far away from just High Tide time spiraling and going from there. Caracas. Ether Vial. Okay. Unbound passes. Polluted Delta. Well, Island. Merchant Scroll. Grab the High Tide. Pass the turn. The question is, what is the best timing to beat a Canonist? So I guess if they activate the Vial on 2 with Canonist out, we got to flash it in, essentially. Deafening Silence is also blowout. About it. Secluded Courtyard. On Sliver. And Crystalline Sliver. I mean, opponent doesn't have that fast of a clock here. Brainstorm. And let's do that. Set up for the future. Holy lands. All right, that's a few more lands than we were hoping for, but at least we got them out of the way. Misty, crack it, Island, pass it. Opponent gonna Vial. They might Pump Fake to get us to cast it. Isn't it worth it to add Palinchron? I love that creature. So Palinchron would work in this deck, and it is a super cool card, but I'm not sure it actually is necessary for the deck to work. Opponent. One card in hand. Cloud Shredder Sliver. Oh boy, okay. Sinew Sliver. I mean, so we just gotta win this turn, right? Basically. Seems doable. Seems doable. Frantic Surge could also be considered. So I mean, I kind of think we just Dress Down. We can run out Dress Down. You probably have already talked about this. How do you feel about Ponder coming back to Modern and the One Ring being banned? So I mean, I think we cast the Dress Down, right? Just to be safe. There's not really a reason not to. So run out the Dress Down. Ooh, draw Merchant Scroll. Okay. And a Brainstorm. All right, we got to be able to win from here. We gots to. So, High Tide. So cast the High Tide. Polluted Delta. Oh, this is tricky. So if we get the Mystic Sanctuary, our opponent blows it up. So maybe we just go without it? Should we just Time Spiral then? Is that actually... Yeah, that's the concern. So we can get the second High Tide, but then we lose a land. which probably costs us more mana in the long run. So I think we go without it. How risky is refilling our opponent's hand? I think that's the real question. Not that we really have an option, right? So we scroll for High Tide, but then we don't have enough mana to Time Spiral. So we'd have to get lucky with the Brainstorm. All right, hang on. I don't think we have Frantic Surge. This is the deck list. We can scroll for Turnabout. That's probably the... Yeah, wait, we can scroll for Turnabout, right? Turnabout is an instant Magic the Gathering spell. It is. Okay, so Merchant Scroll. I think this makes the most sense. Merchant Scroll for Turnabout. Turnabout. Untap our lands. Lands. Untap. And then we can actually Brainstorm. We might as well Brainstorm because we're going to lose it anyway. So Brainstorm. Whiff pretty hard. Well, I guess it's Time Spiral time. A little bit worried about drawing our opponent into things, but I mean, what can we do? What can we do? Time Spiral. 1, 2, 3, 4. Untap. There's a Mind's Desire. That is a Mind's Desire. So, okay, how much of this can we do? If we Merchant Scroll, all right, let's play Candelabra. Merchant Scroll for High Tide. High Tide. Merchant Scroll for High Tide. High Tide. Untap the lands. We should be good now. We should be good. So untap the lands. Ponder. There's a Turnabout. Keep the Turnabout. Turnabout. Wow, we're making so much mana. Untap the lands. Wait, we're kind of doing this sort of well, I think. I feel like we're playing this reasonably effectively. Put back 2 Time Spirals. Brainstorm. Put back a Time Spiral and a Dress Down. Preordain. Bottom. Storm count 15. It's gotta be good enough. It's gotta be good enough. Mind's Desire. Storm count 15. What do we find? Fey Wishes. Turnabout. Oh, this is game. Candelabra. Oh, we did it. We won! We won in Legacy in 2023 with Mind's Desire, and it actually feels kind of busted, I will say. If I'm winning with this deck without having played it at all, and not having played Legacy in a while, that's a pretty good sign this deck's busted. So, let's tap our lands, do a little turnabouting. Yeah, lands, untap. Play a Candelabra. Yes, let's cast that. And then I think maybe we cast another Candelabra. And then I think we tap all of our lands, and then we untap. Oh, we got it. Untap all of our lands. Yup. And then we tap all of our lands, and then I think we untap all of our lands. Oh, check this out. This is a sneaky line. Oh, look at. Okay, we got some high IQ Legacy expert plays. Watch this. Echoing Truth. Candelabras. Pick them all up to untap them. Candelabra. Recast them all. Tap our mana. Untap our mana. I'm sorry, chat. I'm not reading the chat. Hang on. We're gonna kill our opponent here, and then we'll read it. Tap our mana. Untap our mana. Is there any way our opponent's like slow rolling a force? They would have forced by now, right? If they could have, I assume. I guess we could cast another Mind's Desire just to play literally the rest of our deck, but I don't even think we need it. Like, I don't think it's necessary, because all we got to do is Fae of Wishes granted for free. Yes. Take Blue Suns. Fae of Wishes granted for mana. Take Force of Will. Blue Sun Zenith you to make you draw 45 cards. I mean, this is fine, because even if something goes wrong, then we just go back to comboing. Like, we can do this all day. We time spiral it back in, keep going. Opponent, would you like to draw 46 Magic the Gathering cards? Group hug. We're group hug. Wow. I don't know why your opponent sat through that, but yeah, that's a match win. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we could have literally cast the rest of our deck. We didn't need to make our opponent sit through that. Like, when this ended, we had 2 time spirals and a Mind's Desire 2 cantrips left over that we could cast for free. Yeah, match one. But we got the win. Magic is such a fun game, and honestly, Legacy is such a cool format. How do you feel about Legacy on stream? It's one of those formats that I avoid, because it's so expensive. People don't like it. Every time I play Legacy, though, I have so much fun. You're much faster at clicking through it than Reed was. I love Reed. He's one of the best Magic players in existence, but my God, does he play slowly in content? And I think it's because he's such a good Magic player. I think it's because he has to think through and he's just thinking on a different level than we are. So I think that's the reason, but he does play very deliberately for sure. Yeah, that's kind of the problem with Legacy and Paper, right? It's just like no one can play it because it's so expensive. Maybe we got to play more Legacy. That was super fun. So a couple builds are in. 1-2 Lawrence revealed. Help get those land drops. And it's sick thing to hit off Mind's Desire. Ooh. And it does get a Mystic Sanctuary, which is good. You can play Legacy and Paper. It's just like our deck today. If you pull it up, it's kind of embarrassingly expensive. So High Tide. Oops. High Tide, $4,800. That's mostly because this is actually pretty cheap for a Legacy deck. The big problem is Candelabra. Just the 4 Candelabras is almost $4,000. If you look, I think the Mizzix Mastery build is like 13K or something. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it's only. Okay, so it's not actually that bad. But yeah, that's the issue essentially, is the formats. It's really good, but it's really expensive. Yeah, we'll try this. We got the Mind's Desire. We got the Candelabra. Fae of Wish is kind of a mole, but the good news is, like, looking at these decks, they're cheap on Magic Online. Like, 286 ticks, especially with rental programs, that's nothing. Like, that's cheaper than most modern decks on Magic Online. Like, most modern decks are way more ticks than that. So it's actually very, very accessible on Magic Online. Yeah, 6.5K budget deck. Essentially just a budget deck. All right, let's preordain. Can we find a High Tide? Oh no, this is a Bowmaster's color. You can't Bowmasters for Dark Ritual Bowmasters? No. If we get Dark Rit Bowmastered. Troll of Kazuridum. Sure. Well, did not get Bowmastered. We did get Dazed. Okay, that's not ideal, Well, where's our High Tides? Yeah, it looks like Death Shadow. Death Shadow plays this because they play, in Legacy, they can play Reanimate. So you can cycle this to, well, I guess we're going to see it. You can cycle this, then reanimate it, and it drops your life total for Death Shadow. So that's kind of the theory. Yeah, we might not be fast enough to beat this troll. Well, how about a Candelabra? and pass the turd. I mean, the question is, do we find High Tide? Can we find High Tide before we're dead? This is probably a tough matchup. They have a fast clock. And they have disruption and counters and thought seizes. They have everything. Yeah, this seems like a matchup that our deck is going to really struggle with. Do we correct the fetch? I think so. Come on, no. Dark Ritual Opposition Agent. Got to gold 2 from Bronze 3 today with your gate deck for Historic. Going to tinker a bit with the 1 of gates for a bit more red mana, but overall loving the deck. Only 2 match losses, mostly due to mana color problems. I'm glad you're liking it. Oh no, that's not a great draw here. I'm glad you're liking it. Yeah, it's a really sweet deck. I really like that deck a lot as well. This is not looking great. So, okay, if we draw exactly High Tide, maybe we can go for it next turn. We do have the Mind's Desire, but we really need to draw exactly High Tide, and we need to draw it this turn, I think. All right, Magic Gods. Yeah, one of the upsides of Death Shadow in Legacy is you get to play shock lands over dual lands a lot of the time, and they're actually optimal. All right, do we crack this? Probably. Actually, maybe not. All right, let's not. Turnabout. I think this means we're dead. Yeah, we're definitely dead. All right. So the problem, I mean, we can let him play it out. So the problem is we play the Mystics. If we crack the fetch, we die right now. Actually, there might have been might have been a punt. I think what we could have done, and I don't think it actually would have mattered, but what we could have done is use this just to tap down the troll for a turn. That's kind of like super desperation, but we're in a pretty desperate spot. So yeah, I think that was probably the correct play. I think, wow, also the Bowman. This matchup is so bad. I don't think in practice it is likely to matter. Like if you're at the turnabout to shut that down, yeah, losing the fetch. So that's the problem. They can we can't crack the fetch, and they can wasteland our Mystic Sanctuary. So we only have 2 mana. So even if we did do that, even if we turn about, we just don't have enough lands to actually win. I think there's actually a pretty strong argument for there's actually a pretty strong argument maybe for banning out of all formats Orcish Bowmasters in Legacy. What do you think about Bowmasters in Modern? I actually wonder if Bowmasters is a good card, but I don't know if I'm just blinded by my hatred for Ragavan and the fact that it's made Ragavan less playable is like, oh, Dress Down is played in Death Shadow, right? So we probably don't want to bring in Dress Down. I guess we can bring in a couple like Echoing Truth style effects. This just feels like a really, really bad matchup. This is the matchup that we don't want to have to play against. I have no idea how we're supposed to sideboard this. Yeah, I almost like Bowmasters in Modern. I think that it might actually be a positive for the format, as wild as that probably sounds. So the thing is, Death Shadow in Legacy, we can pull up a deck list. I forget, we don't play Legacy very often, so it's probably worth pulling up some lists just so people have an idea of like what we're playing against. So Legacy Death Shadow, I wouldn't call it a Reanimator deck. I guess it's like kind of a Reanimator deck, but really, I don't know. I don't know if I want to bring in Surgical, because they can win very easily just by hard casting their Death Shadows and Bowmasters. So I'm not sure about the like bring in Surgical to stop them from reanimating a troll. I don't know if that's actually worth the effort. Remember when you guys said Lord of the Rings would have an impact on older formats? It's crazy how Bowmasters, the One Ring, and even the land cycles are seeing play. That is true. I think the high-end cards in the set, the One Ring and Bowmasters, have certainly proved their worth. I feel like the set is much less deep than much less deep than a lot of other like Modern Horizon style sets. But the high-end cards have certainly very much exceeded my expectations. I thought that Bowmasters would be really good in Legacy. It's been even better than I thought in Modern, and One Ring obviously just has been way, way better in Modern than I would have ever guessed. Starting to set up my Blood Moons for your signature. I'm taking a week or 3 off scam, so I'm going to get them in the mail this week. Can you resend mailing and resend info? Yeah, Paladin, send me an email if you want to. Sarah@mtggoldfish.com, and I'll get it hooked up. We're going to play first. I honestly don't know if there's any way we beat this deck. So what do you think? So this is going to keep... There's been a big discussion about the Universes Beyond, because Wizards, of course, just announced all the new Universes Beyond. It's a ton more of them. Well, okay, that is some high tides. If there was ever a hand that was going to successfully let us combo off against our opponent, it's probably this one. This might be a Blue Sun Zenith ourself hand. All right, well, we'll see. Still got to get through the disruption. They have a lot of interaction. So there's been a big conversation about Universes Beyond. It sounds like Assassin's Creed is going to be modern legal. It sounds like definitely Final Fantasy will be modern legal. What do you think about these sets coming to competitive formats? Because that's something that's different than I think we thought maybe. I will say so far, is Universes Beyond bad for MTG? So far, I think Universes Beyond has been less bad than I would have expected. I totally think the opinion that... Here it comes. I totally think the opinion that it's bad for Magic and that it diminishes the IP and so forth, that's a very real opinion. On the other hand, so far, like, for me personally, losing to the One Ring or Bowmasters feels like losing any other Magic card. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's Lord of the Rings and the theme just fits so well. Maybe if it was a Fortnite card, maybe it would feel differently. It probably would feel differently, I guess, if the best card in Modern was like something doing the Fortnite dance and like the L thing, or whatever. Like if that was the best card in Modern, maybe that would feel worse than it being the One Ring. But yeah, maybe it's just worked out so far. But maybe Wizards knows that, and they'll keep those cards from being too good. I think the moment people bought Bonkers Lord of the Rings, they can't really cast stones about other IPs. It's just an arbitrary line in the sand past that. Yeah, I can see that. Although, the one thing I would say about the other side of that argument is the Lord of the Rings set is very magic-y, if that... I don't think that's a real word, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of typical stuff that you'd see in high fantasy, so it does kind of fit in more than even like... Oh, geez. Oh, boy. It does kind of fit more than some other IPs might, so I can see that side of it. If anyone thinks it's bad for Magic, tell me how their profit margins look with Lord of the Rings being the second highest profit set of all time, and agrees with that because it's the only language Wizard speaks. I think it's important to remember that. Wizards is here to sell cards. That's why they exist. About it. What's the most sold Magic set? So, according to Wizards recently, it will be the Lord of the Rings set. Based on how long it's been since the set released, it's the fastest selling set at this point in the set's life. Overall, the highest selling set is Modern Horizons 2. They said they expect it to... Boy, they are just stripping our hand of everything we need. Overall, it's Modern Horizons 2. That's the current leader, but Lord of the Rings is supposed to pass it this year, they said, and it's ahead at this point in its set life. Net sales for WotC down 50% last year, I think, but profits are up due to price increases. Yeah, the 15% decrease thing, if you read the financials, I think it's partly the weird thing about Wizards financials is just it's so dependent on when sets release. So to put much weight in the quarterly results, like being down 15%, I think it really needs to happen a couple quarters in a row, because sometimes it really just is like last year at this time they released 4 sets in this slot. This year at this time they released 3 sets in the slot, and that missing set is the difference basically. For all announcements, which ones are you most excited for? Some look really bad to me. I'm excited for most of them. There's not very many that I'm not excited for. The one I'm least hyped for is actually the Return to Strixhaven. I just don't really care about that. The one I'm most excited for, at least for next year, is Modern Horizons 3. Very excited. Scared too, but I'm very excited for Modern Horizons 3. I love the gameplay and the mechanics of MTGs, just can't be bothered with the lore and feel its weakness. I like Universes Beyond since I actually have some idea what's going on and how certain mechanics offer tons of flavor. Mr. Fixer, I can empathize with that. Like, I've talked before about how when I entered Magic and first started playing, do we win if we get back a high tide? Can we win? So we get back high tide. We high tide turnabout. Fae of Wishes. Not great. The problem is if we Mystic Sanctuary, it puts the card on the top of our deck. But we're not going to win without a high tide anyway, right? Like, all right, let's Mystic Sanctuary. Get back the high tide. Opponent can Wasteland. Oh, the Angel deck. Yes, I forgot. I have that pull. Oh, opponent really does not want to lose to our deck. This is game, right? All of our high tides are gone. Yeah, there's literally no way we're gonna win now. Well, our opponent, they came packing. Hey, Flusterstorm. There were times, yeah, we're super dead. Well, Slivers went well. Death Shadow, my God, is that a bad matchup? They had everything. Okay, so piece of news we haven't talked about yet. New Secret Lair Commander deck. I'm curious, Dad, are you gonna get this? Oh, actually, first question: did you get the last 2? Or either one of them. This is the third. Yeah, matchup's so tough. This is the third Secret Lair Commander deck. They did the coin flip one, which seemed really good. Was $100, but took forever to ship. Then they did the MDFC one, which had some good reprints. Was $150, but the deck itself seemed pretty bad if you're gonna actually try to play it. This is the new one. It's an Angel Secret Lair Commander deck. It is $150. It's actually going on sale in 2 days on Thursday. Moonas, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you. Get some new art on some pretty popular angels. Gisela Bruna, Archangel of Thune, Court of Grace, Commander's Plate. Actually, these are some of the most expensive cards in the deck. Archangel's like 30, Commander Plate's like 30. So there is some good value here. I can pull up the, let's see. I put the deck in Goldfish so I could see what the prices were. And I think it's like $270 or something. Yeah. So right now, all the cards add up to like $275. Nykthos is a big one. Amiri is a big one. Archangel, Gisela. So basically, commanders play Pearl Medallion, Urza's Incubator. So basically, I think the value's there. If you like this deck, would I buy this like as a finance play? Probably not. Like, you're going to pay shipping. It's going to be what, $170 or something with shipping. So you're going to have to pay for shipping. You're not going to sell the cards for this amount. So I think as a, like, I'm going to buy this and try to immediately flip it. I wouldn't do that. But I think the price is fair if you like the deck. And the deck, it looks pretty reasonable. Like, it looks like a much more functional deck than the MDFC deck. It's got a lot of the good angels. It's got a bunch of ramp. The mana base isn't exciting, but that's fine. It's a monocolor deck, so the fact that it's just mostly a bunch of plains and like a couple utility lands, that's perfectly fine. So I think it's a reasonable deck. If you enjoy angels and would like to play it, I think it's fine. Yeah, that matchup is brutal, Gore. Like, that was not even a little bit close. Thank you for the sub, though. So I guess I kind of won in the end. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super chat for you. Thank you. Are you going to get the angel deck? Oh, if you like the MDFC deck, this is very similar. The price, the value. The other thing that's interesting about this deck is it's got a new to paper card. Bajer, given how good Mind Slayer is here, do you think it should enter Modern Horizons 3? It might actually be okay. I would say give it a little while longer. Let's see what it does in Legacy. It is a historically scary card, so I could see the arguments against it. I would like to see more Legacy reprints into Modern, though, and I think that Mind's Desire, it might be. I mean, it's still 6 mana. Storm is really bad. Actually, Mind's Desire is probably like super fine in Modern. There's no rituals. They ban all the fast mana, so any of the things we're doing here, you just can't do with it in Modern. So I think it's actually way less powerful in Modern now that I'm actually thinking about it. Yeah, so this card, Ardent Angel. 6 mana 4/4, flying at the beginning of your upkeep. If it's in your graveyard, roll a D4. If it's a 1, return it from the graveyard to the battlefield. Do you know where this card is from? Everyone freaked out about Alchemy. Everyone. Alchemy. Digital only cards. Invading Magic Arena. What you might not know is Alchemy actually started back in 2001 on the Sega Dreamcast. There was a Magic game for Dreamcast that had 10 exclusive cards in the game that didn't exist in paper. One of them was Ardent Angel. All of them have random effects. Most of them, I was reading this list and trying to think, can any of these come to paper? I don't know if any of the rest of them easily could. A lot of them are really awkward, like a random number between 2 and 6. Like, how are you even going to do that on a die? Or a random number between 3 and 7. Seems very, very hard to actually do in paper. The one that I think is most fun, though, is this one. Lidari Druid. When it enters the battlefield, randomly choose a basic land type for each land in play. Those lands become the type chosen this way. It's like a random blood moon. Like, you just play this, a random Magus of the Moon. You just play this, and every land on the battlefield becomes a random basic land. I'm surprised they haven't added this to Arena yet. Worst case, wouldn't it be kind of a cool addition to Arena? Like, if you're gonna do digital only cards, bring these cards to Arena and Alchemy. Like, they all are horrible. Yeah, Permanently is explicit about that. The effect does not end-to-end a turn. Magus of the Chaos Moon, indeed. I kinda wish they'd add these to Arena. It's cool to see Ardent Angel coming to paper, though. This hand looks really good. All right, please don't be Death Shit. Wait, no. Karaz. That name seems, I don't know why that seems familiar. Well, play an island and play a Candelabra. Are we getting forced? No. Okay. I mean, we have the High Tide in hand. We kind of have 2 High Tides in hand. We got a bunch of cantrips. This hand seems like what we're hoping. Slivers. Can you be Slivers? Ancient Tomb, oh god. Lion's Eye Diamond, oh god. Lotus, are we dead? Is this just a turn 1 kill? Opponent, Ancient Tomb. Chalice on 1. Alright, our hand's a little worse now. Just a smidge. Just a smidge worse. Hey mates, I know it's random, but I need your help. Can someone tell me what would be worth shoulder the pot? Oh, wait. I know it's random, but I need your help. Can someone tell me what Shoulder of the Apocalypse Step and Complete foil from new Phyrexian set would be worth? It's the German version of the card. Let me introduce you. What are we taking here, chat? Let me introduce you to a website called mtggoldfish.com. Shieldred the Apocalypse. Shielder the Apocalypse. Concept Praetor, Step and Complete foil. Oh no. Maybe I don't introduce you to mtggoldfish.com. Why do we not have a price for this card? Are these like super rare? Help me, chat. Help me. This is the version of Shieldred that we actually don't have a... We don't have a price for some reason. I have no idea why. Interesting. I don't know. I looked on eBay real quick, and it seems like on eBay they're selling for just over $100. So I'd probably go with around $100. None of our cards do anything. We can't resolve our things. How can we win from here? So we need Fae of Wishes. Yeah, a lot of our deck gets got by Chalice on one. Maybe we just take... Yeah, I think we just take Force. This is going to be weird. So I think we take Force and try to make it so our opponent can't kill us. So we need to hit lands. We need to hit lands. We need a Fae of Wishes away to bounce the Chalice. See, this is the thing. Our deck is disruptible. Day's Undoing. Do we even force this? Probably not. Sure. I think we actually would rather get a new hand here. Our hand had a lot of one mana plays that we can't cast. We did lose our Force of Will. Yes, Chalice is brutal. Brutal. Well, pass the turn. Yeah, that's the thing. It's very disruptible. Like, we saw the power of it when it goes off. If you run into slivers, GG. No chance. However, when you're in the non-sliver matchup, life can be much harder. Opponent. Narset. That's also super annoying. I think we would have won this game several times over if there was not a Chalice on one. Yeah, we're going to get Narset wheeled. Chrome Mox. Plays the Chrome Mox. Exiles a card. Yeah, this is the thing about Legacy is it's very, very swingy. I wonder if this build or the Mizzix Mastery build is better. Sure. There's that wheel, and we scoop him up. Like, well, at least when we die quick. All right. Well, I guess we need all the forces, and probably... Oh, the Chalice on one. Chalice on one. Rebuild can get rid of Chalice. Oh, so rough. We didn't die quick, we gave up quick. And Narset wheel is pretty deterministic. There's literally no way we're gonna win the game with no cards and a Chalice on one. There's no possible way. So yes, technically we did scoop, but there's no way we win for that position. I just consider Narset wheel a win. Like 95% of the times, I consider it just straight up GG. Not conceding, but it's not a kill. I guess technically not. It's like kind of like Infinite Life. I think it's kind of comparable to that. Like, technically, Infinite Life doesn't mean you're dead, but in a lot of scenarios, your opponent gaining Infinite Life means there's not any realistic way to win. So you're essentially dead. Virtually. Maybe virtually. Whatever that word is. I don't know what this last cut is. We definitely want forces. We need the rebuild. Chalice on one. Yeah, maybe the Fluster Storm. Let's try it like that. New brew, no sideboard yet. Let me see, die. All right, we will play first. Well, we got a High Tide and a Force. I mean, we're going to keep this. We'll see. We'll see. Is it Max? Ooh. Some third path iconoclast action. That looks fun. Looks also super cheap on Arena. That's a cool like artifacty spellslinger deck. I like it, Die. All right, let's Island and Ponder. Wow, it's a second High Tide and a Candelabra. Well, put on top. Put on top. Put on top. We will not shuffle. This hand with 2 High Tides could do some things about it. Tap land. And passes. Let's... So we can't win this turn, right? We need at least 3 lands. Let's play Scalding Tarn. And let's just pass and leave up the Brainstorm. Next turn, we might be able to go for it. We might. Opponent. Ancient Tomb. Karn the Great Creator. Do you even care about Karn? That sounds absurd, but you know what? Let's brainstorm in response. And see if we're planning on winning next turn. There's a Mind's Desire. I'll put back a land. Put back a land. How bad is letting Karn resolve? I'm actually very tempted to let it resolve. Oh yeah, it's gonna shut off the Candelabra, isn't it? You're right. All right. Yeah. We can't let that go. All right, force it. Opponent passes. So we draw the land. So we play a High Tide. I mean, we gotta go for it, right? We gotta go for it. So we play the High Tide. This taps for 2. We play the High Tide in the Candelabra. This taps for 3. We untap. We Mind's Desire. All right, here we go. I think we gotta try this turn. I think we gotta try it this turn. This is risky. We're gonna have Mind's Desire X4, so this is really praying hard to the Magic Gods, but I think this is our best shot. High Tide. Oh no, do they have a Force? If they also have a counter, then we pretty much lose. High Tide. Candelabra. Untap. All right, this is the true test. This is the true test of Mind's Desire. How busted is it? How busted is it? Is it busted enough? Mind's Desire. 4 cards. 4 cards. Number 1 is... Oh my god, another Mind's Desire. Okay, that's good. Oh my god, a Time Spiral. Okay. Okay, yeah, Mind's Desire is pretty good. Not bad. Not bad, I would say. And a Turnabout. Okay, so let's untap our lands. Just in case. Oh, we might be good. We might be good. We might be good. We got so lucky. Mind's Desire is so good. Do we Time Spiral? I mean, opponent's already got 5 cards in hand. I think we do. Time Spiral. Untap them. Another Mind's Desire. Turnabout. Untap them. Oh, we got it. We got it. We actually got it. Would you like to force opponent? Land. Untap. I guess we should be merchant scrolling for a high tide. Merchant scroll. Opponent, would you like to force it? No. High tide. Cast that. Yeah, technically we lost a little mana there. Doesn't really matter, though. How about a turnabout? Again. Untap them. Untap them. Lands. Untap. How about a brainstorm? Let's cast that. Oh my god, all the mines desires. I am actually kind of hyped about this. High tide, cast the high tide, and let's have some fun. Mines desire for free. We're gonna play our deck. We're gonna play our deck for free here. This is turn 3. This is our fastest kill. This is our fastest kill yet. Yeah, Mines desire is kind of ridiculous, right? It is kind of absurd. I mean, is it too good though, really? Like, we got to see last round, we just got crushed. We got crushed. Our opponent played interaction and we did nothing. So, an opponent scoops it up. This deck looks exactly like the type of deck I associate with you. Those combos, Panharmonicons and Blood Moons, and hit our spawns, draw some cards. This is kind of a very legacy me deck, isn't it? I mean, we did get a little lucky. We only Mines desired for 4, and it hit the cards we needed it to hit. I think it's disruptible, though. At least when I play it. Maybe if you're really good at it, it's less disruptible, but... Oh, we also have to look at the Wilds of Eldraine teaser. That's also on the list. Why did they unban it? Wizards thought it would be safe now. And honestly, I think they're probably right. Like, it's very, very powerful, and we're seeing its ceiling be very, very high. Overall, I'm not sure. I guess we'll see. Maybe it actually is too good. So here's what WotC wrote about it. Mines Desire is unbanned. Magic has a rich and storied history, including the fastest ban card in the history of the game, Mines Desire. At the time it released, Magic's threats far outweighed the power of its answers, and creatures were a much, much smaller proportion of the legacy metagame. A lot has changed. 2 decades have passed since it was banned. In that time, creatures have become more powerful. New Planeswalker cards have been introduced. There are multiple cycles of free spells that have made it harder to be a lover of the storm mechanic. In the interest of making sure that combo players also get the same level of new content and strength of other archetypes incidentally gained through their temple offerings, we've decided to unban Mines Desire and Legacy. Outside of the spell's combo presence, Legacy metagame still revolving, blah, 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 blah. Basically, they don't print storm cards much anymore. They're just not something they put in like standard sets or their tentpole sets, as they're calling them now. So they wanted storm players to get a little love. Why aren't you playing the Mystical Archive Desires? Because I had these in my collection and they're bought out. They're bought out everywhere, or at least mostly bought out everywhere. Maybe there's some in stock now, but that's the other thing. This card's been reprinted a bunch, so don't go wild. I don't think the finance aspect of it is actually that intriguing. Do we even keep this? This hand seems horrible. We're gonna mulligan. It just hard loses to Karn. This hand has, oh god, no lands. Well, this hand has two high tides. All right, please don't chalice us. Please don't chalice us. We're good, right? We're good. We're good with the 5-er. How does the deck win? So we got to see it. We got to see it in our first match, but basically, once we get going. Okay, Chrome Mox. Once we get going, we get to play basically our entire deck. Included in playing our entire deck is Fae of Wishes that can tutor non-creature spells from our sideboard. So we get Blue Sun Zenith. It says target player draws X cards and then shuffles back in. But we make so much mana, we just force our opponent to draw their entire deck with Blue Sun Zenith. We can also use Brain Freeze to mill our opponent's entire deck, but those are the two main game plans. Well, Force Negation has some upside in this matchup. About it. Except Brazilian's scary. Scary. Well, we're hitting forces for days. We don't have lands. We really need one more land and a way to untap the lands. Oh god, Narset. Oh boy, what do we do now, opponent? Opponent's playing a Narset wheel combo deck, basically just trying to wrath our hand for the win. So Cunning Wish is basically just Fae of Wishes. So I think that's the replacement. Do we have to force it? The problem is, what do we pitch? Like, that's the problem. We can force it pitching. Is it Mind's Desire? Force pitching Force would be nice. But then we're just completely shields down if we force pitch Force. And then we just lose to like Chalice on one. I guess we could force pitch a High Tide. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, this feels bad losing a High Tide, but I mean, maybe this is a silly plan because I guess if we have to force again anyway, we're going to have so few cards left. We're super unlikely to win anyway because we mulled to 5. Opponent force pitches Force. Sure. Well, I mean, I guess we have to... We're committed at this point. Yeah, force pitching Mind's Desire. No. Well, the mull to 5 got us pretty good. Mull to 5 got us real good. Fulminator works well in Scam. Yeah, Tron is back, that's for sure. So chat, we haven't talked much about the One Ring. The One Ring did not get banned in Modern, although Wizards made it pretty clear. Wizards made it pretty clear that it's on the watch list, if that means anything. But they made it pretty clear it's on the watch list. Do you think there's any chance it remains a year from now? Will the One Ring still be legal in Modern? I'm skeptical. I think it's unlikely. All right. Yeah. Am I going to get yelled at for scooping here? Actually, I guess I don't really care. We're dead. I know we're not technically dead, but our opponents just stacked up so many layers of hate, and we're on the mull to 5, and we have 2 lands, that I think we just scoop for the sake of getting on to the next game where we might actually do something interesting. Oh, okay. And also 7 cards in hand. Okay, now we're definitely scooping. Okay. So we got one good combo kill in game 2. I kind of want to try the Mizzix Mastery build. So I think this match, is going to determine if we keep playing the deck. So if we win this one, we're going to play round 5 because we could get a treasure chest. If we lose this round, then we're going to switch to the Mizzix Mastery build and get in a few games with that and see how that one goes. I'm going to say it's going to stay. Wizards have been weird about banning due to the meta share. I mean, I wonder if there's any way the meta can adjust to it. I feel like that's unlikely. I hope that it does. Really cool doing Legacy stream today. I love playing Legacy. I wish it was more popular for content because honestly, it is I think it's the most fun I have playing Magic. Every time I get to play Legacy for content and we do a video, I come away from it saying, that was so much fun. That was very interesting. And we're playing like a combo deck. So we're not even playing like an interactive deck today. We're just playing straight up combo. And it's still win or loss. Like, it's cool. Even that last game, we got absolutely stomped, but we had this big like Force of Will stack battle and like stuff that just doesn't happen in any format. So yeah, I'm in heaven getting to play Legacy today. This seems like a keep. Having Mystic Sanctuary in hand's awkward. We might actually just play it on 1. Slivers. Come on, Slivers. You can do it, Slivers. Another Ponder. Actually, we gotta play a Ponder here. All right, do some pondering. Mind's Desire, Force of Will, Candelabra. Well, we kind of want the Mind's Desire. What is Black and plays Ether Vial? What are we up against? You should try an experiment with Yidris Storm. Adding Cascade seems really fun. Ooh. Yidris is a super cool card. That does sound super fun. Yeah, we're not going to shuffle. I think drawing Force and Mind's Desire is fine. And then we can ponder and get rid of the third card if we want to. I don't know how good Force is going to be with Vial out, but opponent Caracas and passes. Well, let's ponder. Oh, okay. Yeah. Bowmasters is a concern. Any order. Shuffle. We draw an island. Well, let's ponder. Arguable if we should have, none of these cards are high tide. There's another Candelabra. Let's think about this. So if we... Yeah, I don't know if it's worth forcing the Bowmasters. We don't really have to draw that many cards. I kind of want to save the Force for... when we try to win. So can we... Okay, let's think about this. So if we keep the Preordained Candelabra... Yeah, we're not dead yet. I mean, we're not drawing that many cards. So if we got to actually do math. So next turn, we go Island, Merchant Scroll for High Tide. And then the following turn, we can Merchant Scroll. I think this might work. So Time Spiral. Preordain. Candelabra. All right, so I think we can try to win in 2 turns. And we're not going to die to the Bowmaster before that happens. The question is, what other disruption does our opponent have? Because next turn we can tutor up. So we can tutor up the High Tide. Then the following turn, we can High Tide Mystical Sanctuary, get back the High Tide, double Candelabra Mind's Desire, win the game. So that's the goal. That's the goal. We'll see if it actually works. Thalia off of Ether Vial would be super annoying. Down to 13. Opponent passes. Well, there's a Preordain. So we will play the Island. We will Merchant Scroll. We will take a High Tide. We will pass the... Actually, you know what? We should probably just play a Candelabra. Let's play a Candelabra. Pass the turn. All right. Next turn's the turn. Next turn's the turn. Opponent untaps. What do you have, opponent? You got to stop us. You got to stop us. We are winning the game next turn. Vial on 3. Oh, okay. Skyclave. Okay. We have another one. That doesn't beat us. It's up to the Power Mind's Desire. We got the Vial tap. We got the Viral tap. I think we're good. I think we can still do it. So we drop to 9. However, I think it's party time. Another Vial. That doesn't matter. Okay. Well, here goes. So we play a High Tide to double our mana. Play Mystic Sanctuary to put High Tide on top of our deck. We Preordain, land to the bottom, High Tide to the top, get pinged. Yup. High Tide. I mean, it's going to come down to this Mind's Desire, I guess. Candelabra. It's going to come down to the Mind's Desire once again. I guess this is a situation where maybe the Bowmasters could be a problem. Well, I mean, here we go. It's what we got. Is it enough? We're about to find out. Mind's Desire. Storm count at 4. Spin number 1. Mind's Desire. Yes. Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, this card's so good. How about a Merchant Scroll? Cast that real quick. We will take a Turnabout, just in case. We will cast a High Tide, just in case. We will cast a Granted, tutor from our sideboard. Thank you very much, Magic Gods. We will take the Dress Down. We will make some mana. We will cast the Dress Down. Get rid of our opponent's creatures. Up the storm count, we will cast a Turnabout, untap all of our lands. Land and untap. We will tap all of our lands. We will Turnabout, untap all of our lands. Lands and untap. We'll cast the Fae of Wishes for mana. And now we will Mind's Desire. Storm count at 12. Oh! Time Spiral's back on the table because we got rid of the Bowmasters. The power of the Dress Down. The power of the Dress Down. Resolve them all. And opponent scoops up. Oh, okay, that was a... The deck is, when it goes off, it feels busted. Disruptible but busted. I think that's the TLDR. So opponent's trying to tax us. So I guess dealing with creatures is going to be most essential. So Dress Downs and so forth. I think we go down... How do we deal with Bowmaster? I mean, we beat a Bowmaster that game. Yeah, I don't know. As we play this, I'm actually kind of like... I wonder if we want this card unbanned. So the win con is Fae of Wishes tutors from our sideboard. We tutor up either Brain Freeze to mill our opponent's deck, or Blue Sun Zenith to make our opponent draw their entire deck. Blue Sun Zenith is the kind of the go-to, with Brain Freeze being kind of the backup. So what's our record? We're 1-2 so far. So record-wise, it's very disruptible. Like, it's powerful, but we ran into, like, Death Shadow that's just all the thought seizes, all the counters, surgical extractions, and a fast clock. Something like that, it feels. Like, there's decks that are prepared for Storm. I don't think that Storm is unbeatable by any stretch, and this is really still a Storm deck. I don't think it's unbeatable by any stretch, just because as strong as the combo is, there's also very strong hate cards to stop the combo. I saw a blue-black list that played Rituals and such. Also, Tendrils as a finisher with Mind's Desire seems very powerful. Yeah, I think there's people who are... So, Ad Nauseam Tendrils is one of the more popular Storm decks in Legacy, trying to use Ad Nauseam to draw a bunch of cards, Tendrils of Agony for the win condition. I think people are using that... I think people are using that as a... Or Mind's Desire is being used as like an ad nauseum in that deck, so that's another direction you can go. After this, we're gonna try the Mizzix Mastery build. I think we're gonna have time to try some games with that one. Can you try Daze? So I don't think Daze is good in this deck. So I think the issue is, so I think the problem with Daze is, because our mana is tied to having islands on the battlefield, we really can't afford to pick up lands. Daze is a good card, a very good tempo card, but I don't think it's a card that, I think we keep this. It's a very good tempo card, but I don't think we can play it in this deck, just because picking up a land is often like skipping one turn until we can combo. Like, we need at least 3 lands to realistically combo, and ideally more than that's helpful. So I don't think we can afford to pick up a land. So I just don't think Daze actually works well with what High Tide in specific wants to do, even though it's a very good card in the right deck. In my opinion, the card's fine. It's just a strong card that be added to known archetype. Doesn't break anything on its... Okay. Well, the other thing is the deck might be at its worst right now because I think because Mind's Desire just got unbanned, players are expecting to play against it a lot, and everyone's packing hate for it. So we might have chosen the worst possible time to actually try to maybe we just have to do this now. Yeah, because of Bowmasters. We may have chosen the worst possible time to try to play this deck, honestly. Just because everyone's so prepared for it. Yeah, so now we have to find a way to get rid of Deafening Silence, which means we need to find, like, Echoing Truth to bounce that Deafening Silence. This one's especially hard to beat because it also doesn't care about... Dress Down, which is one of our better answers to a lot of hate cards. Thankfully, our opponent's on the one-lander. Well, Flooded Strand, Crack It, Shuffle, Island, Ponder. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the best time as far as content. Ooh, Merchant Scroll, wait. That can do it, right? So we can Merchant Scroll for an answer. So put on top, put on top, put on top. I mean, this is a very slow way to do it, but it is a way that we can break out from under this. The good news is, if our opponent doesn't have another hate piece, this hand is set up to go off. We'd be leaning on the Time Spiral, but still. Opponent, land number 2. Please don't Thalia's. Thalia's the card we're most scared of now. About it. What do you got about it? Okay. Boy, opponent is very, very prepared. Yikes. Okay, this might be becoming impossible now. Merchant Scroll. So is there a way we can beat both of those cards? I mean, I think we still take Echoing Truth. I don't know how we beat both of those cards, though. This is looking tough. Looking very tough. Can't cast our 1-mana stuff. Oh, my goodness. Cyclonic Grip. So we have Rebuild in the sideboard, which bounces all artifacts. Yeah, we can fetch the Sanctuary, although what does that actually do for us here? We just can't get rid of enough hate pieces at once. So we can... Actually, can this... Is there any way this works? Hang on. So chat. What if we... How bad of an idea is this? So we crack the fetch land. Oh, the timing doesn't work. I was thinking, so we crack the fetch land for Mystic Sanctuary. With the trigger on the stack, Echoing Truth Chalice. Resolve it. Get back to Echoing Truth. Hit the Deafening Silence. But then we still can't really combo off, right? We still don't really have the ability to combo off. So yeah, I don't think that actually works. We don't have enough mana if we have to spend 2 on Echoing Truth. We can't untap. All right, well, I guess we just pass. A land would actually be a nice draw here. About it. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. I mean, the problem is we can't High Tide because of the Chalice. We draw Mind's Desire. Does that timing even work? I'm not even sure the timing works. Like, if we did try to do that line, Are we gonna have to target something with the Mystic Sanctuary before we get a chance to get Echoing Truth in the graveyard? Yeah, it doesn't work, right? Yeah, that was my main concern. Is I think Mystic Sanctuary is gonna make us target. Oh, please, not more hate. Oh boy, yeah, we're getting locked. We're getting super locked. We're getting super locked. Opponent, also a Thalia. So much hate. So much hate. Well, now they have a clock. Yeah, there's just no way. There's no way we can do it now. Our opponent's just the Chalice. I mean, really, they have two of the best cards possible against our deck. In Deafening Silence and Chalice. Could Mindsire work in a Reanimator Shell? You have a bunch of 1-mana cards like Looting. You can put it in the graveyard. And worst comes to worst, backup Reanimation Threat. Play Leer to give cards flashback. Ooh. Maybe. Huh? Initiative. We're gonna play some. Yeah, I mean the thing is we can't play through Thalia because we taxing the Echoing Truth makes it so we can't play through Thalia. That's kind of the issue. Because the only option we really have here is we need to. We can play through Thalia in a normal game. We're just not in a normal game. Because what we need to do is we need to bounce Chalice and a Bowmaster. So we need to bounce Chalice during our opponent's turn. Get back the Echoing Truth. It's just too much. We need to... So Echoing Truth, the Chalice. Crack the Polluted Delta. Get the Mystic Sanctuary. On our upkeep, get back the Echoing Truth. But if we pay 3 for Echoing Truth to bounce the Deafening Silence, then we have to pay 2 for High Tide, and we're tapped out and fizzled. We just can't get rid of this many pieces. That's a problem. We could beat any one piece. We just can't beat this many pieces stacked together, which I guess is kind of the whole theory of Death and Taxes, honestly. Like that's kind of the whole gimmick of the deck. Yeah, the way we win is most often Blue Sun Zenith from our sideboard. Yeah, I mean, we could spend a couple turns turnabouting just to tap our opponent's team down, but I don't think there's any pathway to winning from here. You wait a turn, then bounce the Chalice. Yeah, you wait a turn and then bounce the Chalice. Yeah, Time Spiral art is pretty sweet, isn't it? See the young woman to old woman? Huh, okay, well, we definitely want Rebuild. Return all artifacts. Our opponent has a lot of hate pieces. And I guess we definitely want another Dress Down. How do we deal with enchantments, though? This is... And that's something, when we were talking to people about this deck and playing it today, one of the main things people said is, the decks are all like super, super early, and they're going to be misbuilt because they're just all not tuned yet. So I think some of this stuff, like, okay, there's a Deafening Silence. How does our deck have a way to beat Deafening Silence? I feel like some of that stuff will probably improve as people play the deck more. That would be my guess. Although currently, Deafening Silence in specific, like, Rebuild's good at getting rid of artifacts, but an enchantment is like kind of uniquely problematic, if that makes sense. Well, all right, we get to play first. Maybe our opponent just won't draw the hate cards. Well, all right, this is High Tide Candelabra, and we get a force. We get a force. Well, play the land. Ponder. I think we're shuffling Shuffle. All right, there's an island. About it. Swamp. And there's the Thoughtseize. So much hate! So much hate! Opponent takes our high tide, of course. Well, there's a Fey of Wishes. We'll play a Candelabra. And also another Candelabra. Past the turn. Filter out seems good. Yeah, filter out might be the way to go. Like, although that doesn't bounce too much of our stuff, right? Wow, opponent kept one land all hate cards. Oh my goodness. How does this keep happening? Oh. All right, play the land. Well, I mean, I guess we gotta do it and hope they don't have it. Take another high tide. Please don't Thoughtseize us. Okay, I mean, this technically means we're a card away from trying to go off. Opponent takes up Vial. Oh, they really... Oh, how do they have another one? Cyclonic Rift is so much mana, though. Like, we really need to, I mean, I think we have to force this, right? Losing the Fey of Wishes hurts, though, because it means... yeah, I think we have to. Losing the Fey Wishes really hurts. We need some card draw here. Like, we have mana. We really need to do something. Oh, but they're going to get down the hate cards. All right, Island go. Oh, yeah, Time Star would have been GG about it. Yeah, losing that Fey Wishes is a bummer. Mishra's Bauble. Cracks Mishra's Bauble. What a greedy keep. Another Vial. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. We'll even take a cantrip. Another force. These forces aren't looking great past the turn. Yeah, null could be worth considering. I do like the filter out idea. Filter out just gets rid of all non-creature, non-land. So that's a way to get... That seems kind of better than... Seriously? Huh. Well, that's a lot of spells in the old... A lot of spells in the old Ether Vial Thalia deck. The whole I'm playing Coco with 8 creatures. I got to play set a Tarmogoyf. I'm gonna Coco into 2 of them. We got it. We got it. I mean, this game's over, right? I guess. I mean, the good news is that means we get to go on to try the second deck. There's just I don't see a realistic pathway to victory from here. I don't even see an unrealistic pathway to victory from here. Opponent. Yeah, opponent kept apparently 1 land. I don't even know. I mean, just the ideal. Their hand was ideal. They only had 1 land, but they had 3 discard spells and a Deafening Silence. No, last game we got super stacks out too. Opponent. Recruiter of the Guard. Yeah, that's enough. All right. So what did we learn about this build of the deck? And the combo turns are explosive. And we got to see Mind's Desire be ridiculous. But we also got to see that people are prepared for Stormstyle combo decks. Like, there's just a lot of hate. So it feels like it reminds me a little bit of something like Belcher, where it's just very glass cannon-y. Like, if you're not just we saw game one, we played against Slivers, and Slivers didn't have a way to interact with what we were doing, and it felt like we were just playing the most broken deck in the history of Magic. Like, nothing our opponent did actually matter. We were playing a completely different game than them. On the other hand, as we had to see against like Death and Taxes, when your opponent's going Thoughtseize, Duress, Deafening Silence, Grief You, Thalia, then it's like we're playing the worst deck in the history of Magic, and we just literally don't do anything. There's not really much of a middle ground. It's either we're doing the most broken thing or we're doing nothing. I'm curious about this other build. We're gonna try a couple games with this other build, although we also got to look at Mark Rosewater's teaser for Eldrade. So this build, I mean, it's still Mind's Desire, but the idea is not as much to do the High Tide thing and try to cast like High Tides and chain together all these blue spells and untap your lands. This is more of a graveyard plan where you're trying to Mizzix Mastery. This is actually hilariously, this is like the legacy version of a historic deck. If you've seen anyone play more Flump with the gift sub to Darken, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you. I watched your Mizzix End video. It was awesome. I was wondering why no Gate Colossus. So Gate Colossus, if you like to play it for fun, it's a cool card. I don't think it's very good though. Like, I think, so my philosophy on the Gate deck is I view the Gate deck as a ramp combo deck, and the idea is you want to ramp into the Mace's End kill as quickly as possible, because lands are really, really hard to disrupt on Arena. They just don't give good land destruction, so there's not Blood Moons, there's not a lot of ways to interact with that, so that's my thinking on the deck. I don't view it as a, like, I want to try to beat you down, but I think you could build a version of Gates that was more about beating down and play like Gate Colossus. I'm to the point where I'm considering cutting Gatebreak Ram. I talked about it in the video, but I'm actually like not sure I even want Gatebreak Ram in the deck because it doesn't really help me in the win with Maze's End, ramp into Maze's End plan. So that was what I think is the most optimal version, is like play it like this weird combo deck where you're just trying to win with Maze's End, but you certainly could build one that like was not as focused on that and instead was like, I'm gonna try to like play a bunch of Gate Colossuses, beat down with Gatebreaker Rams, maybe play the Angel that gains life or whatever. Ram is such a good rate for a decent backup plan. My big issue with Ram is just the meta. Like, Ram is a really ridiculous card in a Gate deck, but it doesn't line up well with Rakdos, and Rakdos is just so popular. Against Rakdos, it just dies and doesn't do anything, but maybe it's still worth it. I think my current plan is Ram in the sideboard, more removal in the main deck. And then against Rakdos, the deck will be better. And then if I'm not playing Rakdos, then I can bring in Ram if I think it's going to live and like go that direction. Kind of weird we're coming full circle with this story. It was Arena Modern Legacy with Brainstorm, 2-card combos, then it was all banned. Alchemy took over. We're getting fetches and stuff. Maybe it's safe to unban Bolt and whatnot. Yeah, I've actually really been enjoying Historic again. I still think the impact of Alchemy and the nerfs and stuff is just silly and like a detriment to the format, but I have been enjoying it. Mono Black Obliterator Rex Maze's End, Gates and Ram. Yeah, no, that's true. Obliterator does seem good against it. What do you think about Gates in Pioneer nowadays? So Gates in Pioneer, you get a lot of the same pieces that we played in Historic. You're missing a couple of things that are like kind of really good. So the biggest one's Primeval Titan. Primeval Titan, I think, took Gates on Arena from being like a janky tier 3 deck to one of the strongest decks, at least definitely strongest budget decks. And I think it's just like legitimately a really strong deck. So you don't get Primeval Titan. The other thing you're missing isn't as important, but you don't get Baldur's Gate, and Cabal Coffers for Gates is actually pretty explosive. So I think that Gates probably it's a good budget option. We actually have like 6 months, a year ago, we played budget Gates in Pioneer. It's still a good budget option, but I think it's worse than it is on Arena. Cultivator Colossus, it's okay. I would probably play some. The deck plays a lot of lands, so I'd probably play some Cultivator Colossuses, but I don't think it's a Primeval Titan replacement. The power of Primeval Titan is it always can find Mazes End. It can always find a gate that we're missing. It can always find Baldur's Gate. Cultivator Colossus is kind of just like more value-y, and I think it's still worth it, but I don't think it's like a one-for-one replacement. So, okay, this build. What are we trying to do with this build? So we got two pathways to win with this deck. One is we can just cast a bunch of like Mox Opals and Lotus Petals and Crow Moxes and Grim Monoliths and cast a Mind's Desire naturally from our hand, hope that it wins the game. The other pathway is Faithless Looting to get Mind's Desire in the graveyard, and then use Mizzix Mastery to cast it from our graveyard and win the game. So Mizzix Mastery just lets us exile an instant or sorcery from our graveyard, cast it for free. So this kind of gives us more Mind's Desire hits. So we're not going to have... Yeah, Gone Gate isn't anywhere, I don't believe. Yeah, Gone Gate is legacy only, I think. Not on Arena, not in Modern, not in Pioneer. So we're not going to have as big of a number, most likely, for our storm count with Mind's Desire. We got to see with High Tide, we had some like Mind's Desire for 20 or whatever. That's not as likely, but we make up for that because Mizzix Mastery is essentially like hitting a Mind's Desire. So we're more likely to like Mind's Desire for 5 or 6, hopefully hit another one or a Mizzix Mastery, and then Mind's Desire for like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, and then do it again and do it again. The kill of this deck is kind of similar. We're still getting to the tutor from the sideboard with Burning Wish. So we Burning Wish, we need a sorcery from our sideboard. This most straightforward is just Tendrils of Agony, win the game, drains you for 2 each storm copy. We can also get Empty the Warrens to make a bunch of goblins, Grape Shot to win with damage that way. So that's a plan of this deck. Let's see if it goes any better. High Tide, we went 1 in 3 overall. I think overall I would say the deck's probably better than that. I really do think that the meta is very prepared for Storm right now, because everyone knows everyone's hyped about the unbannings and trying it. So I assume that the meta is like super overly prepared. So let's look at this this teaser for Vials of Eldraine real quick, because we haven't talked about that. So every new set, a few days before, Mark Rosewater gives us some hints of what's coming up in that set. Spoilers start a week from today. So next week, we'll probably stream early so we can watch the kickoff stream together. So here's the teasers for Wilds of Eldraine. So these are things you can expect in the set. A new type of token, at least done as a cohesive theme. What does that mean? A new type of token, but not necessarily a new type of token, but it's never been done as a cohesive theme before. So is this like clues and food? Like, is that how we should be thinking of this? Is that kind of the idea, that it's something in that direction? We have a new donation from Mikiri, $20 donation. I know this has been discussed, but the modern unbannings were so conservative. Twin Pod, Blazing Shoal, Tetherite Glimpse, Punishing Fire, Jide, all completely fine. If you ban Primetime and Karn, then Greenstone, Zenic, Dark Depths, in Lattice. It is about as conservative as Wizards possibly could have went. So I agree. It is disappointing and encouraging at the same time. So on one hand, they could have unbanned nothing. Like that is the most normal thing for Wizards to do, is just unban nothing at all. On the other hand, they definitely unbanned as little as they possibly could, I would say. So I came away from it feeling happy and excited that they actually did unban something, and they also suggested that like they'd like to unban more in the future. So the idea that they could actually unban more in the future, that got me a little bit hyped. At the same time, yesterday's announcement was about as conservative as you could possibly get if you're gonna unban something. Like, just unbanning Preordain is really about as safe as you could possibly go. Thank you for the donation, by the way. I think they got unbanned Twin at some point. It's going to get to the point, I think it's already at the point where it's just absurd that it's banned. Let's just looting. It's going to get to the point where it's just absurd that it was banned. Well, okay. Discard a Mind's Desire. Discard a... Mind's Desire. All right. Didn't hit any lands. Well, pass the turn, I guess. Opponent. Yeah, I think Richard made that same argument on the podcast at one point. I don't really buy it. The argument that, oh, it's a good thing that the One Ring can be in every deck. That's a sign. So any deck can play it. That keeps it nice and fair and even. Well, no, like that just means that you're gonna see it even more often. Like I don't think that's actually a good thing. How is this deck using Lion's Eye Diamond? We gotta look at this deck list. I'm confused. We have another new donation. Scorching hot take, but maybe Ayavugan would not break the format. Isn't this game draw just better than Thought Not Seer shenanigans? I actually think it's possible. I don't know if I would want to try it. Like, do we want... Remember Boros Convoke? For the brief moment when Boros Convoke and Pioneer was like... Everyone, oh, Hogak and Pioneer, and it turns out the deck like kind of flopped and wasn't actually very good. It's like fine, but it's not like breaking the format or even tier 1. But everyone was like, oh my goodness. Eldrazi kind of plays like that, where like when it gets its good draw and it's just like, oh, Ayavugan, free thing. It's like it has that super swingy play pattern. So I don't know if it would actually be healthy. Honestly, though, if you want the real reason that we should not unban Ayavugan, I think the Eldrazi deck, it would be swingy, but it would probably be fine. The reason we cannot unban it is Tron, actually. Tron is the top deck, arguably the number 1 deck in Modern right now because of the One Ring. And we forget sometimes that Ayavugan is actually absurd in Tron because it can just tutor up Eldrazi. So I think that's actually the bigger concern for me, is that I think it would be very broken in Tron, and Tron is already really good. So you just play Grim Monolith? Yeah, I'm actually not sure. Yeah, let's play Grim Monolith. I'm actually not 100% sure. Wow, Umorion. Instant. That's some spice. Wait, so chat. What is the idea of the LEDs? Like, what are we... I'm not seeing a trick with LED. I mean, I guess they're good after you've already Mind's Desired. And, like, you have a bunch of stuff in exile rather than in your hand. Crack LED. We don't have a wheel, though. So there's no wheel. Opponent. Passing. We draw Misty. So you think it's just doing it in response to Burning Wish? So we can do it in response to Burning Wish and like get a Mind's Desire. That might be the plan. Do we just go for it? So if we do have a counter. So if we play Lion's Eye Diamond, Storm count 1. Umorion instant makes me think our opponent's gonna have a ton of counters. Play... No, but then they just counter it. That actually seems very bad. Not bad overall, but bad in this scenario. Because if we do that, then they definitely just counter, right? And we get super wrecked. Yeah, we might have to avoid that. We might just Faithless Looting here. Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah, we could do that trick and get Mind's Desire. The problem is if we do that, we discard our hand and then they counter Burning Wish and we're just out. We're just out of the game essentially. So maybe we avoid that. Faithless Looting. Chromox. Oh, this hurts, but I think we gotta play the Lotus Petal to leave up the Flusterstorm in case our opponent is storming past the turn. I mean, if they're storming, how many counters do they... Gross? What are they doing over there? This is like a standard deck. Considers, Gross Spirals, all basic lands. Yeah, what kind of combo deck is this? Umorion Instance. I mean, at some point, we're just going to have to go for it out of the lack of other options. And that point might be right now. Let's Manamorphose. We got to do something. Manamorphose. Blue-red. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. Do we have enough mana for this? That actually does change things, doesn't it? So if we play Defense Grid, what? So if we play Defense Grid, we have 4 mana left over. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right. Defense Grid. Defense Grid. How do we feel about that, opponent? How do we feel about that? Opponent forces. Pitching a reset. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, okay, we might as well do this. Flusterstorm it. All the same targets. I mean, we're pot committed now. We are pot committed. Our opponent can technically pay, but then they're tapped out. And unless they have another force. Okay, opponent's going to pay. That's fine. Here we go. Opponent pays and pays. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone pay for 4 copies of Flusterstorm before. All right, Defense Grid down, but we got a plan for this. We're going to Burning Wish, maintain priority, trigger on the stack, crack our Black Lotus. Yes, we would. Yes, we will. Yes, we can. Mind's Desire. Storm count at 5. Mox Opal. Defense Grid. Right in Flame. Ooh, Misty. Oh god. Another Mox. A Chrome Mox. Oh boy. And Defense Grid. Well. Okay, maybe this card isn't all it's cracked up to be. On second thought, maybe Mind's Desire is not very good. New plan. Maybe it's not very good. Oh, okay. Well, opponent, if you would like to combo off, we have played many defense grids for you. Should have gotten empty. I feel like our opponent's got to be a combo deck, though, right? Like, you can't be playing this stuff and not being a combo deck. I feel like they're just gonna combo us back, but maybe empty would be fine. Empty's boring, though. You can't try to find out if Mind's Desire is good and tutor up empty. That was legal before yesterday. What about Paradoxical Outcome? Would Mind's Desire be good there? Yeah. Yeah, Paradoxical Outcome would be a good way to What? Am I missing something? What is our opponent seeing that I'm not seeing? Maybe they just really had to go the bathroom. How does defense grid keep them from winning, though? Oh, they have to win during our turn? Wait, what did they exile? Oh, they're trying to play High Tide, but I see. They're trying to play High Tide. Oh, that's hilarious. So actually, does that mean that that was actually a really good Mind's Desire because it because it actually just won us the game by hitting defense grids? So they're playing Reset to untap their land. So they're High Tide, but they're trying to win an instant speed on our turn. Two defense grids just makes it relatively impossible for our opponent to to win on our turn because their spells cost 6 more mana. That was the best worst Mind's Desire ever. The best worst Mind's Desire of all time. Well, apparently we're keeping in the defense grids. I was thinking our opponent was just worried about us. I was thinking they were worried about us comboing off, and that's why they countered the defense grid. But the defense grid's actually just locking down their entire game plan. All right. Well, we're bringing some counters. Manamorpho seems like the most replaceable card. Actually, maybe we keep one and go down to Chrome Mox. Let's try it like that. Here we go. I want to see against odds Mind's Desire and Shatterstorm. Ooh. Shatterstorm is a sweet one. All right, opponent said they'll be right back. They're going to grab water. So as our opponent's grabbing water, let's go back to this Marrow's teaser. So new token type, a card that can activate to copy enchantments. I mean, a lot of things do that though, right? Don't a lot of things? Lithiform Engine can copy an enchantment. I guess maybe this means on the battlefield. But I don't think this is a brand new ability. Like, we've seen stuff like this before. Adventures on a new permanent type. It's got to be, what would be the most obvious? So we have creature adventures. Could artifacts or enchantments go on an adventure? Would that make sense? Oh, could they be land adventures? Adventures on lands would be... Adventures on lands would be busted, right? Wouldn't that just be busted? Adventures on lands would just be MDFCs, but arguably better. Well, all right. We got a defense grid, which is apparently the strongest card in this matchup, so... Wait, what else could it be on? So that was my first thought too. What about Planeswalkers going on an adventure? But after Wizards talking about only having one Planeswalker in a set, I don't think it's probably Planeswalkers. Adventures on battles. Battles are just gonna fade away, aren't they? After all that hype about the new card type, I feel like we're gonna have one battle set and then battles. I don't think battles are the new sagas. I think battles are the new tribal, and that they made this card type and we are just like kind of never gonna see it again. Well, Misty, crack it. Get a volcanic island. And do we just jam defense grid? We would like to jam defense grid. We could Burning Wish. Yeah, let's make him counter it. Boom, defense grid. Show us your counter opponent. All right, they're gonna brainstorm for an answer. Yeah, Planeswalkers on an adventure would be a mess. Lands would just be MDFCs. I'm gonna go with enchantments. Enchantments or artifacts? Probably enchantments. Because we just had Artifact Land last year, so I bet it's not that. An artifact that has 2 artifact subtypes normally associated with artifact tokens. This one's gotta be a clue food. It's gotta be. It's gotta be a food clue or a clue food. It's food for sure, because we already know it's food. Food blood? Could be food blood. I think My guess is Clue, because we know we're going to the Clue, literal Clue set. And the murder mystery stuff. And clues just make so much sense. So I bet we get a Clue theme in standard. We already had an adventure artifact, though, in the Commander D&D set. Ooh. I didn't think of that. So that would be a vote for enchantments. All right, there's a LED. Well, 1, 2. Let's start with Manamorphose. Red, blue. We draw land. We just don't have enough mana. And let's Burning Wish. The sad non-combo-y Burning Wish. To take Galvanic Relay and play the land. Yeah, this is not going well. About it. Untaps. And I think I'm way more nervous about discarding my entire hand than y'all are. For some reason, I'm very nervous about the idea of discarding the hand against the Yumori instant deck, but maybe I'm being too conservative. So play the LED. Play the Mox Opal. Play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can't Burning Wish for Now let's Rite of Flame. Yeah, that actually doesn't work. Yeah, all right, let's Rite of Flame. I think we're just going to Galvanic Relay here and see if we can win in 2 turns. Hey, what's up, Greasy Nerf? How are you? Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. All right, Galvanic Relay. Storm count of 3. We might just die in the backswing, though. Galvanic Relay, what do you find us? Mountain. Lotus Petal. Monolith. Scalding Tarn. All right. Well, pass the turn. Are we dead? If we're not dead, we get to do things next turn. But we might be dead. About it, Adepts. I'm running Prologue to Pharisees, and my Modern Blue control deck is a cantrip, and 2 Karn's Bastion is lands. It's great in Mirror Breaker and alt win against control. Ooh, that is spicy. I would not expect to be poisoned out against a blue control deck in Modern, so I like the spiciness of the plan, the uniqueness. Mount it, Misty. Are they going to go for it? I mean, I guess I got to go for it during our turn anyway. But it passes. Are we dead? Not yet. Okay, well, here goes nothing. So we will play a Lotus Petal. Play a Grim Monolith. Actually, let's see. Crack the Scalding Tarn. Get a Volcanic Island. Play a Scalding Tarn. Crack a Scalding Tarn. Get a Volcanic Island. Play a Rite of Flame. Play a Grim Monolith. And we are going to spin it to win it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could Burning Wish first. Do we want to Burning Wish first? Just to up our storm count? Is that better? Yeah, I think this is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, Mind's Desire. Let's see what you got, opponent. let's see. Are we over tapping? We are. All right, Mind's Desire. Show us how good you actually are. Show us your power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, we tap properly. Mind's Desire. Storm count of 3. About it. Uh-oh. Opponent cracking. Are they going to win with the Mind's Desire on the stack? Oh boy, they're going to win with the Mind's Desire on the stack. We haven't seen Mizzix Mastery yet, like at all. Yeah, I think our opponent's just going to combo off in response here. Yeah, all right. So opponent's going to win in response. We did not find a defense grid. Yeah, we just, like, high tide when you don't interact and you get up to that amount of mana, like, you're in pretty good shape. Although, yeah, you never know. It's possible they fizzle. You never know. We played high tide. We see that it doesn't always work. Although we never fizzled, right? Meditate. Opponent draws up to 9 cards in hand. Yeah, there's no way they're fizzling now. Reset, untaps their lands. Yeah, we never actually fizzled. The problem was getting disrupted, and our deck is not really a disrupting kind of deck. Opponent. Brainstorm. How are you, Rooker? Good to see you. All right, you know what? So we will F6, opponent, do your thing. A creature type from Alpha gets a draft archetype. I guess there's many creature types from Alpha, so who knows? Like, that could be many things. Plus, it's just a draft archetype. Lions. I mean, fairies has been around. I'm assuming, and maybe it doesn't mean this, I would assume that it means something that hasn't been supported yet. So I assume it's not fairies, just because fairies has been an archetype in like many things before. Lions, unicorns would be interesting. Wizards does really like they're going kind of like goofy, casual. So I bet it is something like unicorns. Fairy tale sagas, those will actually be pretty sweet. Like, fairy tales seem perfect for a saga because the sagas are like telling a story. So I imagine you could do some really cool top-down saga designs that are actually just famous fairy tales. Like, it'd be pretty easy. So I think those will be some of the most fun cards from the set, I would guess. Multiple legendary foods. Okay, whatever. Like, of course, everything's gonna be a legend. We know, Watsy. It's 2023. Even our food tokens somehow have to be legends. A new card with a lobotomy effect. Those cards are often good for constructed, although I'm curious to see if there's any way they can make it better than what already exists. Like, are they going to print something that's better than Necromentia, better than Unmoored Ego, or is this just, worse than what we already have in older formats? I guess it matters for Standard, maybe? Like, do we have a lobotomy in Standard? I'm trying to think. Do we? I don't know if we have one in Standard, but like, get rid of all the Atraxas. Could be a thing in certain matchups or whatever. A creature with 2 triggers, 1 for artifacts entering the battlefield, 1 for enchantments. So this makes me wonder, oh yeah, Stonebrain, duh. Do you think this is tied to the Panharmonicon one? Some rules text. If a permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, it triggers an additional time. I guess that's different. A creature with 2 triggers, 1 for artifacts entering the battlefield, 1 for enchantments. But it wouldn't say permanent, right? It would say an artifact. All right, so opponent appears to have killed us while we were looking at the spoiler. All right, so I think we got to be more aggro. I think we just got to go faster. A new mechanic that batches together 3 items that have been in the game since Alpha, but never been batched. The Tony Mac! Yeah, I'm very curious what that means, too. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Thank ya. Whew. This hand doesn't do anything. Where's our Mizzix Masteries? We have not seen, like, a Mizzix Mastery draw. Well, this we're gonna keep. There's a Mizzix Mastery. So if we go, are we exiling Mastery? We kind of want to get down. Oh, this is tricky. Dr. Shandor, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's probably gotta be Chromox, I guess. Although this is awkward because if we want to get down to Fence Grid, we gotta sack the Lotus Petal, which turns off the Mox Opal. But I guess we need the Defense Grid to turn on the Mox Opal anyway. So this hand actually is like pretty sketchy. I don't know if we're just supposed to run out Defense Grid and hope that wins us the game like it did last time. I assume that's less likely after sideboarding. But it would slow our opponent down. We just don't do anything for... yeah. I don't know. Maybe we should have kept mulliganing. Maybe this hand's not good enough. I think historic, the ability keyboard might be Decaduous now. It's been a single card or two in the last few sets. Abundant. Another Mox Opal is the last thing we wanted to draw. Like, quite literally. Abundant. So what is the hype level for Eldraine? Yeah, this feels super bad. What is your hype level for Eldraine? About it. Another Burning Wish. Well, I guess we have to start casting things just to not discard the hand size. Wow, what a nightmare. What a nightmare. 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10. I think you bottom wish or mastery. You only need one payoff card. But then we have to exile the other one to the Mox, right? So we lose, if we keep the Crow Mox, then we lose both of them. Maybe that's fine. I mean, we're doing literally nothing this game. Yeah, I don't really see a realistic pathway to winning this game at this point. So let's see. Misty, Volcanic Island. I guess what we have to do is... oh, it's so bad in every possible way. Yeah, maybe it's worth keeping the Chromox and just not exiling anything, just having it be an artifact to turn on the Mox Opal. Maybe that was actually the best line. It might actually have been the best line. Kind of counterintuitive to not turn it into mana, but an additional artifact would actually be very helpful here. Because we can sack the Lotus Petal to, like, play the Grim Monolith, but then we're in the same position of these Mox Opals just being, like, incredibly bad. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just pass. I think we're just dead. You could not imprint on the Mox. Would have kept Opal turn on. Yeah, that might have been the plan. I'm still thinking that Phyrexia All Will Be One is the latest set. Too many in between kind of bummed out. Yeah, Phyrexia is old news. That was like 5 sets ago. Actually, no. Actually, wait, was it? March of the Machines, March of the Machines Aftermath, Lord of the Rings, Commander Masters. Wow, I said that facetiously. All right, next game. I said that facetiously, but I think it actually was 5 sets ago. That's how many sets that have come along. Maybe I'll be more excited next month. Not only about Lord of the Rings draft, there's been a lot of good things recently. Have to be a good set to bring me out more than usual. I'm really hoping that it... So I'm excited for Eldraine because I think the flavor is really sweet. I liked our first visit to Eldraine. So I'm excited for this set. Oh, what did I say? Oh, facetious, yeah. Not to be taken seriously. Sarcastic, Well, okay. So we got the double LED. Wait, can this let us... Wait. 3-6. Are we on the play? We are. 3-6. Is this turn 1 Mind's Desire? This looks like turn 1 Mind's Desire. Watch us get forced. Am I missing something here? So if we go land, Lotus Petal, LED, Burning Wish, Mind's Desire from the sideboard, I think this... Is this a turn 1 win? Maybe. If we get forced here, I'm gonna literally cry. Because this is about as explosive as our hand can possibly get. Because we literally get a Mind's Desire X5 on turn 1. All right. Are you going to see Ween this tour? I don't know if they're coming near me. I keep... let me look up the tour dates. Maybe they announce more. I haven't seen any that are close enough for me to actually make it to. Are they coming to the East Coast? So I guess, okay, they're going to New York City, Providence. I guess New York City would be the best bet. This is a tough time, though, because this is around MagicCon Vegas time. Well, I mean, we're going for this. There's no way we're not going for this. So, here we go. Misty Rainforest, crack Misty Rainforest. Get a Volcanic Island. Play a Lotus Petal. Play a Lion's Eye Diamond. Play a Lion's Eye Diamond. Play a Burning Wish. In response, crack this for blue. Crack this for blue. Burning Wish. Oh my god, we didn't get force. Okay, be good, Mind's Desire. Be good. Let us show your power. Mind's Desire. 1. Manamorphose. 2. Flusterstorm. 3. Land. 4. Chrome Mox. Oh, this is the worst day ever. Okay. And dead. After all that, we ended up with a Chrome Mox and an empty hand. Oh, we hose the grief, though. We hose the grief. Yeah, come at us, grief. Good luck. We already emptied our hand. Okay, maybe this card's fine to unban. Maybe it's fine. I mean, we're just dead now, right? Opponent brainstorms. I mean, I think we should probably just scoop. I don't know. Like, we're a Storm deck. I don't know how we possibly ever do anything again when we're empty-handed. It's not like we're the High Tide deck where it's like, oh, you can draw something that refills your hand. This deck, our deck is trying to do that. Like, I think that we do that every single time we get a chance to. Ideally, though, we hit another Mind's Desire or a Mizzix Mastery, and then we proceed. Okay, that's good enough. Yeah. Well, that was a little disappointing. That was like as sweet as a turn 1 could be. It just didn't work out. Okay, maybe this card's actually fine. I've come around from like the first match of the stream, we played Slivers and we just crushed them and it felt like Mind's Desire was busted. Now that we keep going through like the league and we're getting to the end of the stream, now I'm like, okay, I can see why they unbanned this card. This card just does nothing. It's discard your hand to make a Chrome Mox on turn 1. It just doesn't do anything at all. There's no hope. There's no hope. I mean, I think that was literally the nut draw of our deck, though. Like, I think that's the hand we're, like, trying to get every time. You just spin it to win it and hope for the best, and Sometimes you get the best and sometimes you don't. This hand, wow, this is the same hand. Okay, let's try this again. Don't force us. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Don't force us. I mean, they could have fours. They are a deck that has access to fours. Misty, Crack It, Volcanic, LED. Oh, they have force this time. LED. Mox Opal. Oh boy, the moment of truth. Burning Wish. Crack It. All right, no forcing. Oh, okay, no forcing. Okay, you get one more shot, Mind's Desire. You get one more shot to prove that you were worthy of everyone being so scared of you. Number 1, Scalding Tarn. Number 2, Defense Grid, not countering anything this turn. Volcanic Island. Scalding Tarn. Right. And we scoop it up. Wait, what are we gonna yell at? Oh, I should have played the Moxen, sure. Oh, I think this deck might just be bad. Skeledoses, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup chip for you. Thank you. I'm curious what is the math? What is the actual math on this? Are like the odds in favor of us winning from that position? Well, those hands short. That was 2 Mind's Desires, 2 games in a row. We Mind's Desired on turn 1 and scooped. I'm actually curious. Okay, so 53 cards. We have 7 hits, 5-1. Oh, okay, so it's like 50-50 essentially. Please play the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme song. Yeah, that would be the perfect time for it. I mean, I think we keep this. We need a little more mana, but we can keep this. I mean, the turn one is 50-50 to hit another one. So I guess we kind of low rolled that we did it twice, although even that the odds are not horribly against. 4 Lauren's Revealed would help. Although Lauren's Reveal doesn't really win us the game, right? No Mastery in the sideboard. We have oh boy, counter spells. No Mastery in the sideboard. We do have of course the Mind's Desire in the sideboard, but no Mastery. Well, there's a Mastery. So I think we play Volcanic Island. Play a Chrome Mox. Exile a Burning Wish. And just run out. Oh, do we have to play the Lotus Petal? We probably do. Yeah, let's play the Lotus Petal, because this deck actually could have days. Play the Defense Grid. Go. I don't know, maybe there's a different way of playing this deck that would be better. But it seems very casino-y. Just kind of like spin it to win it, cross your fingers, hope for the best. Lauren's Revealed, like hitting. Okay, opponent does days, but we can pay for the days. They got rid of our Lotus Petal. Maybe that was their goal. Hitting Lauren's Revealed, though, if we just like empty our hand and then. If we just like empty our hand and then draw 3 cards, I guess that's better than Stone Whiffing. But it still doesn't. I don't know if how much it changes the equation. All right, we will pass the turn. We only have 4. So we only have 4 Faithless Lootings to get the Mind's Desire in the graveyard without casting it. So, like, even if we drew a Mind's Desire here, it's not like we can mastery it. There's no way to LED the Mind's Desire and Mizzix mastery it, right? Not really. All right, pass the turn. 4 Seagate restorations. Yeah, I wonder, maybe the mana base could be different. Yeah, I think technically you're supposed to shuffle every time, although I think in practice you would, I mean, because if your deck is random, your deck is random. So I think in practice, if you're going to play this in paper, most people would just let you shuffle your deck once and then exile the top X cards and cast them. I've never actually seen anyone make their opponent exile 1 card and then shuffle, and exile 1 card and then shuffle, because it doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't change anything. Random is random. So it doesn't actually change anything. I guess there could be scenarios where you, like, brainstormed in between the triggers or something, which would be very, very weird. I think even in a tournament, isn't that true in a tournament as well? I don't think in a tournament the judge would make you do it. All right, well, this is our chance. So, play a Lion's Eye Diamond. So we play a Lion's Eye Diamond. We play a Lion's Eye Diamond. All right. Unfortunately, we have 2 masteries in hand, and losing those is not great. We would rather have those. We would rather have those in our deck to hit. But, I mean, what else can we do here? We got to go for it. Storm count at 5. So this does reduce the number of hits we have. There are many fewer hits. The other thing is, so, honestly, what we probably should be doing is just, but what's the point of being a Mind's Desire deck if you're not going to get Mind's Desire? Probably the correct thing on those turn 1 plays is literally just not to be getting Mind's Desire. From the win-loss perspective, if we have that hand where we have, like, storm count of... yeah, this just doesn't... So the plan of tutoring out Mind's Desire from the sideboard seems absolutely horrible. Like, it just really doesn't... Wait, do we have a land drop? Ooh, we can... Actually, wait, this might actually work for once. Because we can Rite of Flame. Wow, we hit the last mastery. That's fortunate. Okay, I take it back. In this case, it is going to randomly work. Actually, hang on. We'll cast this Chrome Mox too. Just up the storm count. Exile the Mizzix Mastery to make red mana. All right, mine's Desire. Okay, now the storm count's high. So it should work this time, right? If there was ever a time where it was going to work, this should be the time where it actually works. 50% of the time it works every time. Okay, Mizzix Mastery, Mind's Desire, 10 copies. This time we better not whiff. Land. Flusterstorm. Oh no, land. We only are playing 14 lands in this deck. LED. Land. Defense Grid. Land. Oh my goodness. No! Yeah, we got the mastery, but we don't have a... We don't have a Mind's Desire. We don't have a Mind's Desire to actually cast with it. Can we Mizzix for Burning Wish? So Burning Wish gets exiled. Our graveyard, we have Rite of Flames, Masteries, and a Manamorphose. So... Alright, how about a Lion's Eye Diamond? A Grim Monolith? Another Defense Grid? We exiled all of our lands. We'll play a Volcanic Island and could overload just to send a message. Tap all of our mana, overload it. Wow, this is so depressing. Yes, we would like to cast this Manamorphose. Blue. We're gonna hit the Mind's Desire, right? Nope, Monolith. Okay. So I've decided, and maybe it's my luck or my playing this deck. This seems like a deck that I am not scared of at all. This seems like a deck that, if this is the best Mind's Desire has to offer in Legacy, not shook. Not shook. Yeah, this is like, the thing is, we're like doing the thing, and it's not even winning. That's the, sometimes you play a deck and it's like an against the odds deck and you just never do the thing. This is the opposite. We're doing the thing. We're casting like turn 1 Mind's Desires. I will say though, I got distracted by us casting Mind's Desires. I will say from a competitive perspective, so we've been really focused on casting Mind's Desire. We definitely could have won all those games where we were just turn one Burning Wish, because what we could have done, and from a win-loss perspective should have done, is just get the Empty the Warrens and make like 10 goblins on turn 1 and win that way. So I think if we're playing like in a tournament and trying to win, I think that's the correct line every time. Like, we're always getting the Mind's Desire and trying to do the Mind's Desire thing, but I think the correct play is actually just get the Empty the Warrens, make 10 goblins, and be like, can you beat 10 goblins on turn 1, opponent? And the answer is probably going to be no most of the time. So I think that's actually, so all that to say, I think we're making the deck look way worse than it is. Not to say the deck's great or anything, because Mind's Desire's been whiffing like crazy. But I do think from a win-loss perspective, I think we could have won those games if we had just ignored the fact that we're a Mind's Desire deck and played like we were a normal Storm deck without Mind's Desire, which I guess is not actually a vote in favor of Mind's Desire. If it's like we can cast it on turn 1, but we're like, no, that's wrong. So I don't know if that makes Mind's Desire any better, but from a win-loss perspective, I know the deck looked really bad, but we're taking like the super high risk Mind's Desire line when we could be taking the super high floor, make 10 goblins and like trust you don't have a Pyroclasm line. I mean, Tendrils seems like the worst option, right? Like, Tendrilsing someone for 5 copies or whatever just isn't worth it. Like, unless you're killing someone, I don't think you want to go Tendrils. Like, Tendrilsing someone down to 10 and you going to 30 is just like, that is not worth emptying your hand on turn 1. It's always good when the correct play is not to play the namesake card. I know, that's a thing. Like, how do you actually do that with a straight face? I will say the deck has gotten those draws pretty regularly. Is this one of those draws? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not quite. I mean, we're gonna keep this. The deck has way too many mana sources. I don't know if it has, I mean, it only has 14 lands. And remember, for Storm to work, we do need spells to up the Storm count. So even though it's a lot, like, a lot of these 0 mana things actually are kind of doing double duty because they're also upping our Storm count. So can we do it? So if we, let's think about this. So we play Volcanic, Rite of Flame up to 2, Grim Monolith up to 3, Mox Opal up to 4. I mean, so I guess we can do the try to win line. Let's do the optimal line once so people see it. So okay, so I think this is probably what we're really supposed to be doing. So I play Volcanic Island. We play, this is assuming our opponent doesn't have a counter. They could have a counter. Play an LED. Opponent. Okay. Play Mox Opal. Play a Rite of Flame. Play a Chrome Mox to turn on the Mox Opal. Play a Grim Monolith. And then Burning Wish. Lion's Eye Diamond for red. And Force of Will. I'm joking, opponent. I'm joking. Don't really. No. 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 Please, no. Oh, and we scoop it up. All right. Well, I will say, given the choice between these two decks, overall, like, so Mind's Desire can do some really funny things. And in its best case, its ceiling is actually really high. So its ceiling is really high. And remember, it was just unbanned yesterday. So this is like the super early builds that are in a hostile meta and all that stuff. So hopefully decks it can get better in the future. But I will say my initial impression after spending all afternoon playing two different decks featuring Mind's Desire is it's pretty safe. Like, I don't think this is going to be a problem. I think maybe someone can figure out a way to actually make it into a somewhat functional deck. Is it going to be any better than just Ad Nauseam Tendrils or the other Storm decks? I don't really think it changes anything. And I will say, like, I think it's doubly safe to put into Modern. If they want to put this into Modern in the next Modern Horizons, it's way worse in Modern. Like, 100 times worse. Like, look at the cards that we're playing in these decks. They don't exist in Modern. I guess you get Preordain now. Like, Preordain is there now. But yeah, I think the cards that actually support it, the fast mana, the high tides, the rituals, the Moxen, the LEDs, they don't exist. So they should probably just put it into Modern too at this point. So the deck, I will say it led to some pretty epic moments. There were some pretty epic moments. Most of them did not end in our favor. A lot of them went badly for us rather than well for us. But there were some pretty epic moments where interesting things happened, even though we didn't end up winning the game. But anyway, that's High Tide. To answer the question in the title of stream, is it broken in Legacy in 2023? No, I don't think so. Is it even good in Legacy in 2023? Probably not. I think you're best off just getting to empty the Warrens and ignoring the risk of Mind's Desire. Hey, Monster CZ! Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Anyway, everyone, I think that brings us to the end of our Legacy stream. So let me know what you think about Legacy. Maybe we'll do some more Legacying in the future if it's something you like, because it is fun to play. We don't have to play Glass Cannon combo decks all the time. We could try some other decks. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely let me know, because maybe we do more of that in the future. But on that note, I think that brings us to the end of our stream for today. So next stream, Thursday evening stream, 5 Eastern time. Otherwise, reminders on the way out the door. Replay YouTube. That's where you can find all the old streams, including this one of the future normal YouTube. Tons of sweet stuff tomorrow. We got a pretty spicy Modern deck for Against the Odds, so keep an eye out for that one. Tons of stuff on the YouTube. One more reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom, and if you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/MTGGoldfish. You can get a free goldfish sticker, and most importantly, thank you to all of you, because y'all are pretty amazing and awesome and spectacular. And I love you all so very much. I hope you have an amazing night. Have a great Wednesday, and I will see you Thursday to have some more fun. So until then, everyone, be good. I love y'all, and I will talk to you soon.